Howdy, welcome to Texas Front Porch. I'm your host, Tex. Y'all saddle up with me and my co-host. We're about to sink a spur and go on a ride that takes us down some rocky and windy trails. We're going to do our level best to cipher out everything we can about all sorts of critters. Bigfoot, Dogman, pretty much anything that walks, creeps, crawls, or even takes to flight. The rabbit holes we're fixing to be poking our heads down is going to take a look-see into everything from abductions to xenophobes. We may not always agree, and that's all right. That, my friends, is how we learn. We will be conversating with a whole lot of interesting folks here on the old porch, and y'all are welcome to chime in. Just keep a civil tongue, and it will go as smooth as a fine whiskey. Y'all can find us over yonder on the Facebook, TikTok, Reddit, Rumble, or you can email us at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com, or if you're feeling real neighborly, shoot us a text, 972-559-0988. Enjoy the show, folks. Good Monday, everybody. Welcome to the front porch. Texas front porch, I guess, because it is my front porch. You know, I saw a comment by, I don't know if I want to call him a friend or not. That's kind of pushing the envelope. Mr. Ranger X in there about, does this thing ever start on time? Well, we were having that conversation right before I pushed the button. And I said, the folks would think something was wrong with me if I did start on time. So, there's that. I'm just trying to, stick with tradition, and, I don't want to, get too much off the track. But we got a good show for you tonight. And we're going to be talking some Dogman, which y'all know is a subject near and dear to my heart. And this young man, I'm really excited about seeing. And when you get old enough to fart dust like myself, you can call these people young folks. So I'm excited to see these young folks getting into this field, because I think they ought to, be just as crazy as the rest of us. But it's exciting to see them, and almost, I don't want to say teach or mentor. That sounds way too arrogant, because if we can help them along, and I guess mentor and teach is about the only thing you can say, because you want them to learn from the mistakes that you've made along the way, and hopefully they won't get their ass chewed, literally out in the woods. But let's get. I got two co-hosts tonight. I'm beginning to think there's a coup going on, because they're starting to outnumber me. I feel like I'm back at home. I can't even get away from the damn women long enough to do a show. They're outnumbering me. I got Brandy and Krista with me tonight, so let's get them up
here. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Well, we're just hanging out, trying to outnumber you, I think.
Yep.
That way you'll never get rid of us. That's just the way it is.
You're stuck with us now, Tex.
Y'all like black mold. It's hard to get rid of.
Oh, you just wait. It gets worse.
I saw somebody in chat that I've been asking about. And Pat Murphy, I see she's back in chat. She was in the hospital last week.
Yep.
And I'm so glad to see you back. I was worried about you. I hadn't heard any. I've been asking about you, see how you were doing. And I'm really glad to see you back. Let's see who else we got in here, because we oh man, I don't know if we can go through all of them.
You got a bunch in there,
man. And folks, that's a good thing. So I think I'm just going to do a blanket howdy. I love all y'all. Thank you so much for supporting us. I think we got some new folks in here.
Yes,
that I was able to meet. I think for the first time when I was interviewed on that little show. When was that? Last night? Yeah.
Last
It was
night.
last night. Yeah.
Last night.
Was it last night?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I don't. I tell you what. When I flip flop my schedule, I lose track of what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad enough. I came home Sunday thinking it was Monday. Took the trash cans out to the road, the whole 9 yards. Walked in. I was like, wife got mad at me because I woke her up. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, well, "You're going to be late for work." She goes, "It's Sunday." I'm like, oh. So thank
She
you,
gonna
Sugar
get
Richard.
you.
I appreciate that. Y'all be sure and go show him some love too. Y'all, I'm struggling here. I hope y'all would pick up that I'm having trouble with his name of his channel, and y'all would pick up and go,
I
"Oh,
you know
well,
what? I
it
think it was
this."
ORD3.
I can tell you. Yeah.
I think that was the name of the show. I'm on my phone. I can't look anything up, Tex. You know that.
Well, I got
Well,
my up too. So
I guess I'm going to start writing this down.
oh, good God,
But I
I'll
do
do
see
it.
Sheldon out there. Hi, Sheldon. Talk to him quite a bit. ORD3. See?
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, what it stands for, it's
All right, Sheldon. We're waiting
because
on Sheldon. Give us the name.
well, he changed because he had to change his channel,
Mm-hmm.
and everything because. Hang on, folks.
Well, it's Mike Adams, he says.
ORD2, the 14 Erminite.
But his new channel is ORD3. Old Religion Dystopia 3.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
I had a conversation that I don't have very often, and
Yes,
honestly,
you did.
it was. I won't say it made me feel. I won't say it was uncomfortable, but it was just different for me because I normally don't get into the, my religious views and my faith and all that kind of stuff because I just don't.
Right.
I don't mind talking about it at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm very proud, but it's not something that we get into here as much.
Well, no, because I mean, we all have our different faith. We may all be
Right.
Christians, but I mean, we have different beliefs that may,
Right. But
so
anyway, I really got into, how I feel about things and the way I see things. And it was a lot different for me. And, honestly, he was a great interview. I mean, he was a great interviewer. And I'm going to be going back to his show, and I think you'll probably see the other members of the team on there eventually too. But he had a pretty good sized channel at one point, and I almost said Yahoo. YouTube nuked it, because of
content.
He said he was putting out false medical information or something like that, and
whatever.
we discussed that, and I mean the whole thing, and it was really we didn't even get into my encounters. It was a personal conversation, and it was. I have never, because people have me on the show, they want to talk about what I've seen, what I've encountered, the research, that whole nine yards. We didn't even talk about that. It was as boring as it was about me and my views on stuff. But I'm looking forward to going back on. We're going to have him on here. So he's a great guy, though. He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hung in that chat from the moment it started till it ended. I was having great conversations, and the the interview was good, and it just kept me interested the whole entire time. So that for me, without going to sleep because I have to get up early, I stayed in it the whole entire time. I was proud of myself.
Well, I got to tell you, it was almost a refreshing interview.
Yeah.
because it wasn't about this. I wasn't telling the same old stories over and over and over. And I think he even talked about that. But yeah, y'all go show him some love over there. If one of you can, drop the link to his channel in
I
the
can
chat.
probably do that.
And we haven't forgot. We do have a guest backstage, and we're going to let him talk eventually.
I'm excited about
Poor
your
guy.
guest tonight. I adore Shane. He is a good guy. And he's boots to the ground. So I'm excited for this.
Real quick, let's pay some bills. And Brandy, can you go over the show list and everything?
Sure, I can. All right, on Monday night, of course, we're here. 6:30 p.m. Central, we have Texas Front Porch. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, we have Van Buren Variety. At 8 p.m. Central, we have Beyond BMR with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. On Wednesday at 8 p.m., we have Jason McLean, Questions Everything. On Thursday at 12 p.m. Central, we have Bigfoot Michigan Rob with our very own Krista right here. On Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, you have us with Blondes and Booze. And on Friday night at 8 p.m. Central, you can get us again with Blondes, Booze, and the Woo at 8 p.m. Central.
Very good. Yeah. And I just realized that I talking about his channel, I didn't even say his name, Michael Adams. And like I said, great guy. I can't wait to have more conversations with him. Mm-hmm. But
and I did just drop his link too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
I said his name earlier.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
We did.
Let's get Shane up here before we forget he's back there. And
hey, what's up, guys?
I mean, we had him sweeping up the back, and so. Did you get all that trash taken out?
Yeah, we fly by the seat of our pants, so just hang in there. We'll get you.
Did you clean the green room up for us there, Shane?
Oh, yeah. Clean it all up for you.
Have the green room.
Yeah. Now, I will say something about Shane. As y'all can tell, his favorite color is green. Neon green and black to be.
Can't tell.
And I've got to tell you, these guests that we have are getting they're getting a little bit too big for their britches. I get a memo that, well, Shane's only going to come on the show if you get neon green M&Ms. What in the hell is this? So I had to have neon green M&Ms in the damn green room for him, and monster drinks because they were neon green on the can.
I'll have to hit them up for sponsorship. Monster
y'all are, put the star on the door, and it's just a whole deal for y'all. I don't get
it. Oh no, it's our rising star.
Yeah. I mean, the green rooms I get put into, I'm lucky that the most comfortable seat in there is the toilet. So
porcelain throne.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
So Shane, this is my first time actually meeting you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Like I said, I'm super stoked and honored that you'd have me on, and Krista and Brandy as well. Like I say, I'm super stoked that you guys do such an incredible job, boots on the ground, paranormal. That's just one of the things I don't dive in. Props to you ladies, and Tex, for you going out in the woods when you did that live stream. I was at nighttime. I was like, man, this guy's got some guts.
Yeah, well, and all he's got is me as backup. Here in Missouri, and it's not going to help.
There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, Shane. And I've been accused of jumping over that line more than once.
Well, the bad part is I'm just like him. So this, nobody's seen that yet, but it's coming.
I saw you ladies running down the hallway in a chair. Randy was pushing Krista. So I was like, hey, they have fun no matter what.
Yep, we do.
We don't care. I mean,
Brandy's the hot blonde version of me.
Yeah, I went down to the front desk and I asked him, I said, this is a strange request, but I said, I need a chair. She says, don't you have one in your room? I said, yes, but I need two. I said, we're podcasters. We're going to do a podcast. We only have one chair and we need two. She goes, would you like wheels or without?
We're like wheels.
I said, well, with wheels. And so we took it up to the 3rd floor and we started racing down the hallway in the chair. That's how that
And then she
ended.
took me to the wrong room. She stopped me in front of the wrong room. I'm like,
Look,
was
I
funny.
blame that on cold medication.
I like how you put in the disclaimer there was no alcohol consumed prior or after.
Nope.
Yeah,
no
that's the
alcohol.
Cold
one.
medicine.
See, I told you I put that disclaimer out there. It was sleep deprivation and cold medication.
Yep.
I want to put this out there too, folks. I just did an interview with Eric on Paranormal Highway too, and he did a fantastic job, and he's making a whole series of interviewing people, about their encounters, and the encounter. What he's doing is he's interviewing you about. From my understanding, this is what he did with me anyway. The encounter that really made you turn that corner, made you open your eyes to other stuff being out there, and what got you started, and all that kind of stuff. And man, he did a fantastic job. He did it different. He does an introduction, and then you go into your encounter uninterrupted. You've got the floor is yours. And then when you're done, he comes on and asks you some questions. He takes notes during the interview and then asks you some questions and then gives his final thoughts. And it's very well done.
Wow.
And y'all go over and take a look at it. I think I posted it I posted the playlist, I think is what I did on the community page. So you can see the interviews. But
okay.
Yep, definitely.
It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Shane, what in the hell are you doing in this subject anyway?
I say the same exact thing. I've only been in it for about a year. So, I mean, I don't know. It was the Dogman that drew me into the community. I've always been a big believer in the Sasquatch and UFOs, but never enough to go dive into the subject or go deep in the woods looking for them. I mean, I live in California, so I mean, we're Sasquatch country out here. I mean, it's where the Patterson-Gimlin film was filmed in 68, I believe. But there's more vehicles I see in California with a Bigfoot sticker on it, and I'm like, man, there's believers out here. They say I believe and stuff like that, but I never really thought about diving into it. I just like, okay, there's something probably out in the woods, but actually diving into the whole cryptid phenomenon, other than just Dogman, which have my enthusiasm, but it's just wow. This community is just so awesome. I have more friends. I was telling my wife the other day, I have more friends in the cryptid community than I do real friends. And as sad as that is, but it's like, these people, you guys, Krista, Brandy, Tex, I mean, I talk to you guys and I feel like I've known you forever. Right. It's just, and people are willing to go out of their way just to, be almost endearing and enlightening if someone's having a bad day. And even though they're in the cryptid community, I have friends all across the United States, around the world to speak on that. Friends in Australia. I mean, there's just the cryptid community is something else. And they're the nicest people, down to earth, genuine. But I got into this about a year ago, and like I say, the Dogman's what really drew my mind to it. But never in a million years did I even think Dogman even existed. It was the name that got me. I started laughing. So I was just like, no, there's no such thing as werewolves. And my buddy's like, no. You got to listen to Vic Cundiff's show. Check out a few episodes. I was like, okay, creepypasta sounds too good to be true. But it was the everyday people that caught my attention. Like, you're just these truck drivers driving down the freeway 2:00 in the morning, and they see this wolf eating on a carcass, and then it stands up and walks off into the corn. It's like, I don't believe that's made up. So, and it's these everyday people that are seeing it. So that's what I dove in head first. And I try to dive in every single avenue when it comes to Dogman, whether it's podcasting, interviews, boots on the ground, anything I can do. Dogman 24/7. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Have you had an encounter yet?
No, I haven't. If people say it's crazy to want to have an encounter with one of these things, I want to just see it because I believe they are real, but I just want to see it with my own two eyes and say, hey, these things are out in the woods.
I'm with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe from a safe distance, but hopefully.
Just in passing. That's it.
Right, just in passing. Hopefully driving a car.
How you doing? Gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, I saw mine in passing, and it was an underwear changing moment for me. But
Oh, wow.
You know,
Yeah. I'm like you, Shane. Though I'm very fascinated, and I have been for a couple years now.
Mhm.
And even 5 years ago, somebody tell me, there's a dog man, I'd be like, you're so full of crap, whatever. Roll my eyes, and here we are.
Right, here we are. We're all in this.
Right. So I'm like you. I'm very intrigued by the dogmen, for sure.
Just the name
you know,
alone is a
we
joke,
we may have a new listener out there tonight that, and I hope she told him about it. I had a doctor's appointment today, and I was walking through the hallway and going to the waiting room by the lab and all that kind of stuff. And this woman is doing this at me, and I'm like, I walked over to her. She goes, "I'm trying to read your shirt, but your beard's covering it up." And so I let her read my shirt. I'm wearing my shirt that says my spirit animal is Bigfoot. And she goes, I said, yeah. I said, I like Bigfoot. She goes, oh, so does my husband. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, he probably liked my YouTube channel. Tell him to check out Texas Front Porch. Oh, he probably listens to it already, but I'm going to tell him. So if you're out there, I don't know what your name is, brother, but welcome aboard. So go thank your wife, because it tuned you into the best channel on the. Oh, I'm sorry. Shane's got a good one too. But,
He does.
I'm still in my infancy, to be honest with you, Tex. I mean, I've started it about a little less than a year ago, and I'm just trying to find dogman eyewitnesses or encounters that just take time out of the day. I'm like I'd say, I'm not in this for likes, fame, or anything. Just to try to spread awareness of the dogman, and the phenomenon just keeps growing. So it's got, if I can help somebody else out, get into the field and just want to look for these things and get answers. That's what I'm all about. So I'm trying to get people on. It's just, I used to have a schedule where I'd book someone, but it's kind of like, we all got our personal lives that we've got to do and stuff. So sometimes people will cancel on you. So it's just like, hey, whenever you have the time, it's just, like I said, I try to dive in every single avenue. I try to do podcasts and boots on the ground research and anything I can get my hands on. It's just putting my feet in different avenues. It's just,
So look, how many times have you been out so far?
Well, the place where I go is about 2 hours north of me. It's up at a place called Shaver Lake, California. It's a big Sasquatch area. The whole town's painted with murals and everything. But there was a buddy told me that there was 4 dogman sightings in the last 5 years up there. And they said that they think it was a wolf or something that just went, biped and into the woods. So I was like, oh, let's go check it out. Haven't really found any evidence that screams dogman. I found a print that might have been canine. We don't have wolves in California. I mean, there's 2 packs in far north California by Oregon, but unless they travel, 600-700 miles down the coastline, that's the only thing I don't believe they do. I bet they have, but the most I found would be Sasquatch structures, the tree structures, the huts. There's one that I have in question that I've sent it to DA. He said it looks like a dogman den. I've sent it to other dogman researchers, and they say it looks very dogman-like. So I don't know, but I try to get out there as much as I can. It's just family, football, and it's probably been about 3-4 months since I've been in the field, but I definitely want to get back out there.
So, right. How often do you get reports that?
Well, out here in the West, we don't really get a whole lot. I mean, I'm also the Region 1 director for the NADP, so talking to Jody Cook, and a lot of the hot spots are going to be Pennsylvania in the South and up near Maine. So California, I believe that there is sightings, from Nevada to Washington. I just don't believe people know where to go to, hey, I saw a dogman. Also, the fear of the ridicule, saying, hey, I just saw something on 2 legs running with a deer carcass under his arm. People are going to think you're crazy. So that's one of my main goals as being a Region 1 director, is to be an outlet for people. And also, 20 years ago, they would have been crucified for this, thinking, oh, you're crazy. But as the phenomenon keeps continuing to grow, spreading awareness out there, eventually people won't think that they're so crazy, that they'll be like, hey, I've saw this guy's show, or I've seen Texas show, or I've heard Vic's show. Maybe I can go to someone and tell them about my encounter. And that's what we're getting right now. A lot of the dogman sightings in the West are all older reports. So it's just people stating, hey, 10, 15 years ago, I saw something that looked like a dogman. And we just put it into the database, and that's what we've got right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well, they'll come. Trust me.
I'm
They'll
hoping.
come.
I've only been a
Yeah.
regional director for about 3 months now, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do everything I can to, not just spark interest in the Dogman, but just trying to, like I say, try to get people to want to talk about it, or they did see something on the side of the road that they weren't crazy, and we can help them out by either just listening to them and writing down the report, or actually going out and doing an investigation. So
yeah. Wow.
And the last time I actually did a Dogman investigation was for Daryl. Daryl had hit me up about a gentleman named Eddie in Southern California. He was calling Daryl in the middle of the night, claiming that there was hundreds of dogmen. He's been harassed and everything. So Daryl, went out on a limb and said, "Hey, Shane, would you mind going down there with your team and going and looking for the dogmen?" So I gathered my wife and a couple researchers, and we went down to Rubidoux. Well, it's like the Mount Rubidoux is the mountain range outside Riverside. And, we did a thorough investigation. We talked to some of the homeless that were willing to talk. One of them said that they saw some crazy things, but after our conclusion, I don't believe there was hundreds of dogmen, because I mean, if just thinking of the local wildlife would be decimated, there would be nothing really.
Right.
Is it possible that there could have been one or two? I really don't know. I don't believe that all these missing people, the homeless, are necessarily dogmen. I want to say it could be either cartels, it could be gang, or it could be anything really, but our evidence didn't show anything dogman related. So I called up Daryl and I was like, "Hey man, I didn't see anything dogman related." He's like, "Oh, is this guy just in this for 5 minutes of fame?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." But his, hanger wasn't destroyed. There was no obstructions to the trees. I think the guy might have seen something, but I don't believe it was a dogman.
Yeah. So he messaged Blondes and Boobs. He messaged me. Yeah, originally. And I called Brandy, and I had told him, I was like, "That's out of my league. I don't, I've never investigated Dogman, but I can hook you up with people who can." And that's what I called Brandy. I'm like, "What do I do with this dude?" And so we ended up sending them to Daryl, and and then I guess he reached out to you.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And he was
so we knew all about it.
Oh, well, hey, it's cool that, like I say, the Dogman community, we're all in this together.
Right.
I did not know that.
This was several months back, when he reached out to us, and it was, and his stories, I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. Why don't the guy just pack up and move and leave the airport hangar? And then apparently his parents lived down the road or something. I don't know. Was that true?
Yeah, but that's what Tex always tells us too. You know what? Bring everything to us, no matter what it is. Bring it to somebody on the team here, and we will get you to the right person. If we cannot help you, or if it's out of our wheelhouse, we will get you someone. Yeah. And that's how it got back to you.
See, that's all across the United States. You girls in Missouri, I mean, in the Midwest, this guy's reaching out to California, like you said, it just complete circle. And I think it was awesome that, we were all able to help somebody out. Yeah. And, I've talked to the guy since, and, he's really wanting us to go back down there. He towards the end, he would look like he was searching for evidence, like trying to find a little bit of scats, a bone or something. Like he didn't want to leave us disappointed and say it was a waste. I told him it wasn't a waste of a trip. No investigation's a waste. Was it a lot in gas? It was, because gas is $5 a gallon out here, but it was, told him we would come back in possibly February or March with more other researchers, and we could try to check the area out. What I do believe, though, it is a Sasquatch area, because Mount Rubidoux, actually looking up to it, a lot of people that hike along the trail have heard things like wood knocks and rocks thrown at them. So, I mean, that really just screams Sasquatch to me. I don't think dogmen really do that. I've heard reports where they have thrown rocks, but California, I just don't see a whole lot of dogmen activity. Sure. I know they're out more in the desert. Northern California, we got the Jedediah National Forest dogman picture on the NADP website. But like I say, wherever there's Bigfoot, there is going to be possible dogman.
Right,
so
absolutely.
I just trying to get out there more and just researching the areas. And where I'm at, I think I'm perfectly in the perfect location. I'm 2 hours from the desert, 2 hours from the ocean, 2 hours from the mountains. I mean, can't really beat it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, they've been reports that they've been in the desert, mountains, and along the beach, but not so much where it's really inhabited. I think it's more Northern California where the dogmen have been seen, where the reports come from. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So we got a couple of questions here, but we'll get into the questions and comments on the second half of the show. So we are getting some. And I got to tell you, Shane, and you've been in our chat. We got the best damn people in our chat. We really do. They ask such good questions
too.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think? I want to get your opinion on this, since you're all into Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
And all we have is opinions. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they are?
That's a good question. I'm 50-50 on that. I've heard so many reports that they are portal hoppers. They, interdimensional. Part of me believes that there's something aspect to that. I don't know really, but then again, I believe in the whole, if you see them and they're feasting on a carcass, if they're breathing, they're flesh and blood. But when you see just the one print, is it hopping, 40 feet into the tree line? I mean, that's a good question, to be honest. I've talked to some researchers that claim that they're just flesh and blood, and they back it up with theories that their evidence shows no, shows no way of saying that it is interdimensional. But then you hear these crazy reports. Jody Cook just talked about it with Jessica Jones last week about dogmen in suits, coming out of portals and stuff. So, I mean, if the military's, witnessing this stuff and people are leaking stuff out, is it a different race? Are they fallen F for them? I really don't know. I like to think that they're more the flesh and blood. I mean, if they're, eating on a carcass or, in the tree line, and that's to me just flesh and blood. You match the David Pilates missing 411 and the underground cave systems. They're almost identical. So are they using the caves as a highway? I know they use waterways just like Sasquatch use to travel. So, I mean, I do believe a good portion of me believes that they're flesh and blood. But then again, like we said earlier, with these dogmen coming out of portals wearing spacesuits, is it a different race of dogmen? I mean, I don't believe in the variant chart. I believe that there's different breeds of dogmen, from your hyena variants, the German Shepherd looking type, super soldiers, and then the Van Helsing ones. It's just, I believe if you ever look at the dogman variant chart and there's 3 on top, I believe those are either misidentified Gugway or Sasquatch. Anything, and the research I've done reading into this, I don't know if werewolves are real, but if skinwalkers are real and they can shapeshift, then that theory, comes right back into reality, saying, hey, if skinwalkers and rougarous can, morph into something, if it's a curse, a spell, then why can't a werewolf? But nothing describes a werewolf having a digitigrade leg structure. They all have humanoid leg structures. Their snouts are smaller. The ears are on the side of the head. That's more the werewolf theory, but dogmen just don't transform. From anything I think of, I just think that the dogmen are 24/7 digitigrade leg structures. And then if you look at that chart, they look like Gugway almost, the far right one, number 3, I think. I just either misidentified Sasquatch or Gugway.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess for us, it's like, well, we haven't seen it. I don't know what to believe. I've not seen it. It's I'm one of those. You have to sometimes show me things. And man, I don't know. I mean, we just got our first comment a little while ago. It said, "Oh, he needs to go to the LBL with y'all."
That's my dream, honestly, to go to the LBL.
Well, Shane, you come on with us.
I'd be happy. I was actually supposed to go to the Dogman conference last August, but I mean, looking at fuel prices, I was like, do I really want to do a cross country drive? And then just getting a plane ticket for, just a weekend, well over $1,700. Well, round trip, I'm like, I'm not going overseas,
Right.
Just flying to St. Louis. We'll get you there. Going to St. Louis. We'll get you there.
Yeah. Or Kansas City even, that's not
Kansas City's not too bad, but St. Louis is easier, but just get there.
Yeah. When we went to the LBL, we seen like these, and it wasn't just Brandy and I, it was everybody that was there, seeing these, like, I can't really say what it was. I don't know if it was Sasquatch, Dogman, a ghost. I really don't know, but they were peering from behind like the trees. And then we were seeing the orbs all around us, you know. So you hear of people seeing that, and we seen. It wasn't just one of us seeing an orb, you know. Several of us would see it together.
No, multiple people saw it, and it wasn't just one. There was multiple, and they were located everywhere. So whatever that means, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. So now
we're gonna get Tex to go with us too.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I'm really leaning onto the side, you know, on the interdimensional side, only because of what I witnessed at the LBL.
Yeah, it's something crazy there. I know they say north side's Dogman, south side's of the river is what, Sasquatch, right?
Well, I think it doesn't matter. I think that's kind of rumor, I think.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, they both can be in both areas of the LBL.
Yeah.
So,
that's another.
I think one's more prevalent than the other, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's such a huge place. Don't you think, Tex, that it's such a huge place that they could have their own area? Honestly,
sure.
You know, they don't.
And that's another thing. You know, you hear about, you know, people getting pictures of them right in the same nest, and you know, with little ones, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think they're, I don't know. I think a lot of that is misidentification. And unfortunately, I think most of it is pareidolia, but, it's, I think they tolerate each other, because the thing about, a lot of people don't realize, when you have two apex predators like that, they don't want to fight each other, because they don't want to risk the injuries. They don't want to risk the death, and they don't want to risk that. They don't want to put out the energy. They don't want to spend those calories. They can't afford it, you know? So a fight is the last thing that's going to happen. You know, they're going to bluff each other, and one of them's going to back down. That's usually how it's going to happen. And that's just going by, you know, normal animals. And I don't think they'd be any different. It wouldn't make any sense. The calorie intake with these varmints are going to be through the roof anyway.
Yep.
So you can't just go, you know, it's kind of like me and money. I just can't go spend thousands of dollars at a casino. You know, I gotta,
as much as we would all like to.
Right. Right.
But I think they are in the same areas, and I think they tolerate each other. But I think that's just, they may work together. I mean, I think it depends on, again, it's like the attitudes towards people. I think it changes from group to group to group. It just depends how they were brought up, you know. Some people say that you know, they use dogmen as, you know, like we do domesticated dogs. You know, some say, you know, Bigfoot used coyotes that way, and stuff. But that's just it. It's all speculation. You know, and you can't, just because you saw this going on in one area doesn't mean that that's how it goes on all over the world.
Right. And I believe the people who come and they say, you know, that they're strictly flesh and blood, or they're strictly interdimensional, I think it has to do with what they encountered personally.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you see, you know, a dogman eating a roadkill, you know, and then gets up and walks away, as Shane said, you know, that to me, that'd be flesh and blood too. But until you see like the orbs and the weirdness to it, you know, it really makes you think, you know. So I honestly, me personally, I don't knock anybody for saying which they believe they are. It's what they've encountered, you know, so that's what they believe.
Exactly.
Yep.
I know Nick Valente had actually done reports. I think he did an interview a while back, and I think he had even told me when I actually did an interview with him and Jeremiah Fountain that 93% of sightings always end up with an orb or a UFO sighting. It's just, I want to say it was 92 or 93% if I'm not mistaken, but around Dogman and Sasquatch. So it just makes you think, what is it? Like you said earlier, the orbs, not just one, but several.
Right. Exactly.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy, so much.
Because Chris and I have talked about it in length about Missouri is the cave state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could they be using these caves and tunnel systems to work their way through our state? Absolutely.
Exactly.
But do I think there's more woo to it than them just walking through a tunnel? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Not all. I'm just saying there are some. Just like, we as people, some of us are psychic mediums, some of us are not.
Mm-hmm.
But we all have an ability of some sort to a certain extent, and how well we use it is just how much we exercise, that ability. So, I mean, all these stories when they come to me with all the woo stuff, and I'm like, well, it's possible. I don't know. It's possible.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Yep.
Dex, where are you? Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm here. I'm doing a little producing stuff, and
Oh, see, he doesn't get to do this much because normally it's like he's doing all the talking and I'm just shaking my head all the time.
Oh, you guys are good. No, you guys are awesome.
But tonight he's like, oh, I get to do some of the producing stuff and He's feeling like Mr. Big Shot.
Putting on his tech hat. But no, like you guys were saying, in Missouri being the cave state, I know I just shared, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, and I think Krista, you even commented on it out there in Missouri. I don't remember the name of the Air Force base, but an Air Forceman
Air Force Base.
Exactly, there we go. But a gentleman had came out and said that he was chased by a dogman in '93 at that Air Force base.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only like a 13-minute encounter, but I mean, now we've got people coming out years after their service and talking about it. So right there, I mean, it's different. The government, former military are now coming out and saying stuff about these things. I mean, it's trying to connect the dots. I mean, for every answer we get, there's going to be 10 questions. It's always it's a revolving door. For one answer we get, we might get hit with 10 more questions. So
yep, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of military members, police officers, and things like that, they can't say anything. They don't want to be called the crazy person or whatever. So they just kind of have to wait until, they're done with their service to even come out with their story. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of stories come out late.
Yeah. Yep. And Whitman Air Force Base, honestly, it's only maybe 50 miles from downtown Kansas City. It's not far.
Oh, wow. So it's really close.
Yeah. It's not far from, major population.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's of course there's the Missouri Momo and all of that up in there, so it makes sense.
Momo's over this area, Brandy, over on my side, St. Louis side.
Yeah, it's close.
Do you guys have the Ozark Howler as well?
Ozark Howler, I believe, is more down south, around PA's area. He's down in like the Springfield area. I think Brandy's area.
My area, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got Dogman, Bigfoot, and the Ozark Howler.
Oh, you got all three, lucky.
Yeah.
So
I
what
got
do you think
I got the Mark Twain National Forest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard several encounters.
So yeah,
in that area.
It's quite extensive.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, what's the difference between a Bigfoot and a Dogman and a Howler?
Who are you asking?
Yes.
Anybody.
Oh.
Go ahead, Chrissy, you take it. Anybody.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I stumped you right off the bat.
The Howler they say is more is like a Dogman type thing, isn't it, Brandy? I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's different than a regular Dogman or if it's just the name that somebody came up with.
I think it's mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Monster Radio says the Howler is a cat-like creature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. DA actually wrote about the Ozark Howler in one of his books that he put out, and I read it. And that's like he said, Ryan had said, cat-like. I thought more bear-like with horns. So, I mean, the way DA writes about it in his book, it's like this thing is just savage, like a a bear would be, just tears things apart. And
Yeah.
they almost have like ram looking horns on it from the illustrations I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah. Clayton
Yeah,
says,
but there's some reports that say they don't have horns.
Oh, okay.
Howler's supposed to be a quadruped feline with horns. Well, now, and the thing about it is, do they shed their horns? So that may be why you see them sometimes without and sometimes with.
Or
Yeah.
could it be like a deer where the bucks are the only ones that have antlers and the does don't? I mean, is it something
Yeah, it
like
could
that?
be. Yeah.
True.
Female, male? I'm not sure.
True. Very true. Yeah.
So, you know, it's
I don't know a whole lot about like the howler or any of that. When you get into the
Well, you know, you start getting animals with horns. I get into Wendigo, so you know, it's just kind of like, don't get me even started on that.
Well, you have to wonder. You have to wonder how many of these subsets of cryptids that we hear about, the howler and this and that and the Momo and all that. How much of it is either a Bigfoot or a Dogman?
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. Misidentification. Yes.
Exactly. Misidentification.
So, and well, I don't know if I'd call it misidentification. I just think it's something that it's a local tag that they put on it. It's like the Falk monster.
Oh,
Bigfoot.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Brandy's like,
Boggy Creek, Boggy Creek monster, it's,
Skunk ape.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's, that might be something.
You start getting into these other cryptid type things, and you notice a lot of similarities, and you're like, well, Tex could be right. They're just putting their own name on it, and it's actually a Bigfoot. It could be actually a Dogman. It could be something else. They're just putting their own tag on it. Now, there are some out there like what are they were talking about recently? The Grass Man or the Lizard Man or even Mothman. I believe those are not connected in any way. So, but some of these others, I do believe they could be connected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I agree. Just like with Ryan down in Arizona, they call the Bigfoot down there the Mogollon monster. So you said earlier, just putting your own name on it. Up here in Northern California, we've got, I'm not Northern California, but in Northern California, they nickname all the Sasquatch Patty. So, I mean, that's where the film came from. So it's just like, not every single Sasquatch you see is a female.
Right. Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, because the Ohio Grassman is just supposed to be a Bigfoot on steroids, basically. He's the biggest and the baddest of the bunch until you get to Alaska, from what I understand. Now, Alaska,
Genosqua.
I'm kind of wondering if what they have in Alaska is not, because I mean they're just right across the street from Russia. Is that and then over in Russia they call it a Yeti. So is that what we're
I guess you're right. The Grassman is probably a variant, probably.
Yeah.
Could we call it that, a variant?
Well, I mean, you can call it a different race, a different breed, a different creed, a different variant, whatever you want to call it, whatever tag you want to use. But we're saying the same thing. It's like Dogman. Dogman, they say they got these 8 different variants and stuff. But I look at it like they're no different than different breeds of dogs.
Exactly.
And I have a whole theory of why that is the way it is. I saw one picture of one supposed dog man that looked like a freaking schnauzer, and mine looked like a Saint Bernard without the jowls, just the blunt squared off muzzle, but he wasn't no damn Bigfoot. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It's just hard, to lump them all together. But then again, if you start describing them, you kind of have to. You don't know if it's just a name made up from the local area or if this is actually something totally different.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I mean, I think the reason we have so many Dogman variants or kinds or however you want to look at it is because I think they had to do that. They had to breed with different canines to sustain their species, because I think they were almost killed off by the flood is what I think.
Could have been.
And it's now whether they can, a lot of people out there think they're Nephilim, and that's fine if that's what you think. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't necessarily disagree with it either.
Yeah.
Because it's a possibility, know, because you can sit there and read the Bible, and I'm not real big on the whole Nephilim theory anyway, because
Tex, let me just stop you right there. We're at 51 minutes, and the ladies told me to tell you not to forget the 52-minute break.
Yes, ma'am.
Us ladies do have to do stuff.
Well, I got it. Somebody's got to keep me in line. All right, folks, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and I was told, because people they want to take the 5-minute break. So I was told not to take any more fake 5-minute breaks. So we're going to let y'all go on the radio side, and y'all come over to Texas Front Porch, Blonde and Booze, or Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and catch the second half of the show. So,
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes. I'm going to, and I that is not my strong point, folks. I am not a good person.
See you in 5, everybody.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna discuss the Nephilim theory, and I want to get into some of these reports that Shane's gotten that I haven't heard about, and I want to discuss the Lipan, Texas case with Shane to get his take on that.
Absolutely.
It's something we hadn't talked about in a while. I want to talk about the one that y'all had, the FedEx driver up there too.
Yeah.
So we'll be back as soon as I find it. There it is. See y'all in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute. And we're back. Folks, man, I've got like 20 questions and comments started we're going to get into. Y'all really try, because I'm doing this tonight. Y'all know I'm not, real good at this. But y'all try to be sure and put them in all caps and to catch my attention a little bit better, because I don't want to miss any. Let's get... oh God, I got to bring her back up. I'm going to get Krista up real quick to save the day. Here we go. Okay.
About 20 minutes ago, I started sweating, and I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm sweating this cold out finally. And it got so hot, I had to take my socks off.
Thanks, Brandy. You're getting better, and I'm getting worse. Thank you.
Well, maybe you need to.
Nothing, because she sure as heck gave me her cold.
Thank you, Susie B. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susie B.
Hey, I actually got that one. The other ones were in Rob's chat. Well, I went to Rob's channel. I got this one. So let's get him back up here. The man of the hour.
Yay.
Glad to be back.
Jane's back.
So oh, hey, Michael. I'm glad you made it, brother. I want to get into some of the reports that you've gotten, Shane. And have you had any, like, really up close personal ones that you've taken?
Not necessarily. Like I said earlier, out here in the West, we're not getting a whole lot from the NADP. Just the ones that I've done research on are from, I've used some of the NADP archives from the database to kind of go research the area. Vic Cunniff's channel, where these people have seen these things and go out and do my field research that way. There's actually a gentleman that DA had sent me over in the Santa Cruz mountain range who had a dogman sighting. And then the Santa Cruz mountain range has actually had multiple reports of dogman sightings throughout the last 20 years. And so I was going to get with this gentleman, but he ended up having surgery and was going to let me know when he got better that we would get a team up there and we'd go check out. Because this encounter happened about 3-4 years ago from just talking to him on the phone. But he had reached out to DA, and DA's like, hey, I got someone in California that can be more than happy to come out and help you. And I told him, hey, you just give me a call and you let me know. We'll set up a time and a date and we'll get up there. So we're still kind of pending on that one, but really not getting a whole lot of reports coming my way. I'm hoping in the next year or so, people will be more intrigued to want to talk about what they've seen, even if it was 10 years ago, just so we could put it down and then just go check the area out. I mean, there's 11 states in the NADP for Region 1. So all the way from Hawaii to Alaska, all the way up to Montana, down to Nevada and California. So
wow,
pretty much the whole West. It's a lot of territory to cover. So that's my goal is I'd like to get out there and check all these states out when the reports do come. But then again, right now I'm currently trying to get teams in each state, recruiting, field investigators, researchers, state reps. We're trying to do it all. So I'm just trying to, I'm so intrigued by the Dogman. It's like, I want a response team, kind of like how Nick goes out and no less than 7 people, he's boots on the ground. That's what I want to do. I want to be a immediate response.
Right.
But it's kind of hard when you got a family and a full-time job and everyday life.
Yeah, and we're the same way with the paranormal. Somebody calls us, and especially when something is with children or something, we try to make all arrangements to get there. That's a top priority for us. So I understand where you're at, because sometimes we have to travel too.
No, yeah, definitely. That's the thing. You guys travel all over the place too, and you guys got like the LBL, a lot of haunted places around in the Midwest. So it's pretty cool. That's an avenue I just don't want to dive down because I've heard the hitchhiker effect, and nope, don't need cabinet doors open in the middle of the night.
Well, see, just look at it this way, Shane. Though you know someone who knows someone that we got you.
I appreciate it.
We got that side taken care of.
Yeah, we got that side taken care of.
That was perfect. I'll stick to the Dogman.
And I guess Kristen and I never realized until we went how close the LBL is to us.
Yeah, how far is it? Just a couple hours?
It's
2.5 for me. 2.5 for me.
Yeah, a little further for me. I'm more north than Brandy is, so it's about, I would say, maybe 4 hours from me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's really not that bad, considering I'll travel sometimes upward to 10, 11, 12 hours.
Wow. So you ladies really do travel and investigate boots on the ground.
Yeah. The first time we ever actually did any type of investigating with any type of, cryptid type thing was at the LBL here just a few weeks ago. But I had never been out to actually, sit out there and like look for them. And that's exactly what we were doing that night.
Now, is it the same way how you investigate the paranormal? Is it the same way how you, like what we would do looking for evidence, or are you guys more using, EVPs and different type of equipment? Because I'm just using a camera and my cell phone pretty much.
We actually did take paranormal equipment with us that night just to see if anything would, wonky would happen, or, we could get anything. And
it did.
We did through a ghost box, which was odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but it's, who knows? It was a ghost box, and so some of those can be programmed. You just never know,
Yeah.
Well, and then I had taken a piece of equipment out there to monitor pressure, temperature, humidity.
Yeah.
I turned it on and it got zapped. I couldn't use it. It just killed it right there. I was like, really?
Yeah.
I just charged it, put batteries in it, did everything, and it just went. So we were unable to use that. But we did get some stuff. So again, is it closer together than what we think? Possibly.
Definitely.
I think, and the whole, and that's something that I wanted to do, and I was able to do, is bring on the paranormal folks into a cryptid investigation, for the simple reason that we're dealing with so much other stuff out there and we didn't have the tools in our tool belt to maybe see if we were getting any other readings. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's going to help you find any cryptids or anything else, but it's just nice to have those tools in your tool belt.
Exactly.
We got EVP or not EMF or radiation like we had that last trip. Even the infrasound readings that we were getting. It's interesting to see, what if you're getting those readings, what's going on at that time where you have encrypted activity or that type of thing. And I honestly, I think the more, like I say, the more tools you have in your tool belt, instead of just wandering around with a camera, which I don't tend to do anyway. I really don't. I mean, I'm more of an audio guy. And I think everybody has that little niche that they love to do out in the field, whether it's audio, video, pictures. They like tree structures, they like EVP, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to fault anybody for whatever they're looking for. If that's what they're looking for, I hope they get it, whatever it is. And it's, so, I mean, hey, I brought, witching sticks out in the middle of it, and just see what happens with them, and because you can find a lot of stuff that, there's a possibility you can find, water that's running underneath you that you didn't know about and stuff like that. Or you can find, if you're using the dowsing rods and you get hit, then you can use another tool that you've got, like an EMF meter or something, and you can dial that in and maybe find out what you've got going on and why you've got it going on there.
Yeah.
So it's just, if you've got, say, if you go out in the field and you don't have any EMF readings, but you've got your Geiger counter going off in a certain spot at the same spot that you're getting a dowsing rod hit, something's going on. I think you need to dig in and find out see if you can figure out what that is.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah.
And God forbid if you get EVPs in that same area, and then you're down a rabbit hole. But
well, that's what it was for us at the LBL. We had some REM pods sitting out. Like I said, Brandy had her Eddie Plus, but the batteries just went dead, and that was
died as soon as I turned it on. It went click, 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 and then gone.
Yeah,
I was like, you're kidding me.
And then all we had left, we had the ghost box to use. So we used that, and it did say some of our names that were there, which was kind of odd,
That's very odd.
Yeah.
Spooky too.
And then being out there in the LBL, you're not getting any radio stations. Not off of my spirit box. I didn't even have an antenna hooked to it. It was just sweeping white noise. That's all it was doing. You could just hear it sweeping. And as soon as I turned it on, I heard howdy.
Wow.
No, that was me.
I figured it was. You were there in spirit. Thanks.
I was asshole projecting myself.
Yeah, but I really want to say that our best evidence.
You went right by that one. She's like, I ain't touching it.
I don't. I was trying to. You caught that. I didn't mean for you to catch it, but you did. The best evidence we caught is visual. It was all visual.
And it was all of us. It wasn't everybody, I believe, that was there that evening seeing the orbs and seeing it at different times and different colors and different sizes. So it was just weird.
Right.
And the whole area of the LBL is not right. It's not right.
The feeling is off.
Yeah, I feel whatever dogmen are out there are not like your normal dogmen. I feel like they're just.
There's more to them.
More rogue almost.
Yeah. Like they're not. Just the whole area is not right.
Just get a bad vibe, like bad negative energy kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard out there. I've also heard in Kentucky that there's different theories when it goes, like I said, so many different rabbit holes we can go down. But I've heard that the Sasquatch and Dogman can, affect the electromagnetic fields around them. So that's why, your electronics will zap out. I've heard that theory plenty of times. Or I've also heard another theory that with it being the humidity, but it's not humid in the wintertime. I mean, but you take out take out a camera and within 10 minutes, your battery's drained. I've heard so many different theories. I was like, is it but like how Krista or Brandy had said, the energy was just really bad. I was just, or negative there. So makes you think
what we ran into is different equipment dying at the same time. Two different lights going, dark, absolutely dark at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And audio recorder and a flashlight going fully charged, going dead minutes after we got on top of the hill out there in the cemetery.
Yeah.
So something's affecting stuff, and it's not limited to just a certain piece of equipment. Obviously it is. It's just weird. I don't know if some pieces of equipment have enough shielding around it to it being protected. Some of it just don't. I really don't understand what's going on. And I don't think I have the means or the resources really to get the equipment to drill down that far. To actually what is, because EMF's kind of general, and even radiation is kind of general because you don't know what type, and all this kind of stuff. It would be nice to find out, but
if you're out there in the middle of the woods, what's generating it? What is causing it? In the paranormal world now, if something zaps my equipment, that is normal. That's a very common occurrence. I have to bring batteries and charging cords, and that is normal for that to happen. But I'm out in the middle of the woods. That is not something that has ever happened to me before. So it was just kind of crazy that it just zapped it just like that. So that was amazing to me.
I've had some electronical problems too with a brand new iPhone. My wife and I were out up in Shaver Lake and we were hiking in, and it was dead silent. And I was like, that's eerie, So that's one of the things, because I in this 1 year of research, I've tried being a human sponge and just soaking up as much knowledge as I can, whatever theories. But that was one that I learned about in the very beginning was woods are silent, birds aren't chirping, there's something there. So then my wife heard a loud snap. She freaked out, ran over towards me. But as we were going deeper into the woods, I'd say we probably went about 1.5 miles in. All of a sudden, my brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max battery died. I'm like, well, there goes that. Looks like I had to back up old iPhone, start recording again. So, but it's just weird how it went from a full 98% battery down to dead, all within maybe half a mile of hiking. It was just weird.
Yeah, that is odd.
Yeah. When Tex was in Brown Springs, now it was amazing. I am surprised he lasted for 2 hours on his phone streaming. And I was like, that is amazing because, my equipment probably would have been zapped by then, but he did great with his. So, it just all depends. But, when he was out there and he's walking, I was hearing things live, like people talking, and there is nobody out there with him. Nobody. And I could hear a woman speaking. Yeah. And I could hear a woman speaking, and I'm like, what is going on there? But does it surprise me? No.
The safety team was about 200 yards away from me, down the hill at the bottom. That was the closest people that were there.
Wow. That wasn't what you were hearing, though, Brandy. It was what you heard different voices,
that was 2 guys down there at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. Wow. He was with some guys, and I heard a woman. And then there was somebody else in chat who said, I said, I heard somebody speaking. She said it was a woman, right? And I said, yes, that's what I heard. I heard a woman speaking. So,
wow.
You can find anything out there in the woods, I guess.
Yeah.
And
seriously.
Well, and that's the thing too, Tex, because you not only had, you were in the cemetery, so you had the paranormal side of things, but then when you got back to your vehicle, you had some cryptid type, so who knows what it was that was, messing with you at that time.
Yeah, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Tex, you guys get a lot of Sasquatch over in your area, right?
Well, we got Sasquatch, little people, dogmen.
You got it all then.
Yeah, it's just a smorgasbord, dude. I mean, it gets a little crazy out there. We call it the southern, I almost said chicken fried ranch. Skinwalker Ranch.
Chicken.
But
making me hungry now.
I'm letting you go with that, Tex. I'm holding it.
You're not doing a real good job of holding it there. You're covering this up, but you're totally red from here up.
It's the pressure building up. It's like it wants to come out, but I won't let it. All right, go ahead.
I want to get your opinion on a couple of cases that we've talked about in the past, and then I want to jump into the questions and comments. I got like 30 of them starred. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh wow!
But yeah, a lot of people asking questions, and we got Al San Diego and Santiago, Al
Santoriga, the Squatch father.
Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry, man.
Love that guy. He's so awesome.
Yeah, he's great, man. Amy says LBL is the chicken fried ranch.
Chicken fried
Okay.
ranch.
D1 says I had a Freudian slip.
So if we call it the chicken fried ranch from now on, that's our code name.
Code name for the LBL.
Yeah.
Chicken fried ranch.
Hey, Krista, I'm going to jump over to these starred comments. Can you watch and see if we get anything else new?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Real quick, I want to go over. Have you heard us talking about the Lipan, Texas case?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'll get real quick. What happened was this old boy was walking, going to work. He was walking to work, and he was taking a shortcut through the woods, which he took on numerous occasions.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, I've heard he was walking to work, and I've heard he's just out for a stroll. So I don't know, but anyway, he didn't come back, and so they went looking for him, and they found him. He was dead, thrown over in the brush, and the only marks on his body, he had his throat ripped out, and there were scratches on the body. That was it.
Was this recent?
Year and a half ago, maybe.
Wow.
Year ago. Now here's where it gets. Well, the whole damn thing's weird. Mm-hmm. Instead of the MA showing up or the ME showing up, the Justice of the Peace showed up, the Sheriff's Department showed up, and the game warden showed up with a civilian contracted tracker. Okay. The Sheriff's Department and the Justice of the Peace wrote it off as a big cat. Okay. The game warden and the tracker said it was not a big cat. There was no sign of big cat activity in the area or any evidence around the kill. And that the game warden stated that it was not a big cat, but he could not say what it was.
Wow.
Cover up.
And all of that was in the newspaper. Mm-hmm. Those two departments disagreeing was in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There was no autopsy done. And if my suspicions are right, I'm betting the body was cremated.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of cover-ups. Look at the Corey Godsey case. Look at the Brenda Hamilton. I mean, it sounds like a dogman attack. It just, I mean, of course, just like in Ohio, they got the code name. The police have a code name for black bear is Bigfoot, black dog is for dogman. So, I mean, they have to cover up. It's just sad. But yeah, the Corey Godsey case was the one that got me. I mean, what do you think? A 13-year-old boy is going to be dragged up a 400-foot steep ravine cliff? It just doesn't. They say it was big cat or wild dog. I think it was wild dog. So, but man,
is that the one that they? Is that the one? Was it Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky. Corey Godsey was 13.
And the official thing was an unknown canine.
I think they just said wild dogs is what they said was, or I'd have to really look into it again. But when I first drove into the research, that's when the first case I read. I know it happened in 2020, but the little boy was dragged back. I think he was walking home or staying at a family relatives, and he was just dragged away. But I mean, what natural dog can go up a 400-foot steep ravine cliff? It's just I don't know. It just screams dogman. Same with the Brenda Hamilton case. It's I know there's a gentleman out there in Texas or Oklahoma, just north of UTEX, Steven, I can't think of his last name, but he does a YouTube channel called Abnormal Investigations. And he talks a lot about these missing people and tying them up with, not tying them up, but like tying the cases to, is it cryptid related? And that's one of the I had heard was the Brenda Hamilton. He does actually a really good job on covering this stuff. He does his research and trying to get the autopsy reports and stuff like that. But he had read about the Brenda Hamilton case, and that one just screamed dogman all over it to me. So anything dogman, I'm like diving into. So,
well, there's the famous case that came out of Brown Springs of the couple that got killed. And for a long time, it was they blamed it on a Sasquatch or a dogman. And Jessica remote viewed that case, and she thinks it was more of a cult.
Oh wow!
Stuff, because in what we the certain occult members, from what I understand, and I'd love to actually talk to one of these people. You got to be careful with that, kind of careful what you wish for type things.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's when you hit certain levels in that craft, or I don't even know what to call it.
Would you say?
You can actually either become a vampire or become a werewolf. And there's certain rituals you have to do either one. And that's what she was alluding to, that it could have possibly been that, that ritual taking place. But the problem about the whole thing is it's still an open investigation.
Wow. Oh, they never closed it, huh?
No. And that's all in your Stonewall. That's pretty much all you can find out about it. But I mean, it was brutal, because she was not only killed, she was assaulted. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
So, and depending on what story you hear, what version of the story you hear, he was thrown in, she was spread eagle on the car. He was thrown over in the brush. That part, that part of the story is always, the same. But when you get to his injuries is where it differs. He's either thrown in the brush with his head turned around backwards, or he's thrown in the brush bent double. So, either way, now don't get me wrong, it don't take a whole lot if you know how to do it to break a neck. And once you break the neck, you can spin it around. But from the reports, the head was twisted all the way around. And so I don't know. like I said, it's an open investigation. We can't really find much about it. But
wow.
So you've got three possibilities there. You've got the occult, which could have been a werewolf. You've got possible of a dogman, which who knows what they are, and the Sasquatch. And we've got all that in the area. I mean, we got surrounded by 5 cop cars because they were looking for a bunch of witches out there sacrificing chickens. So
wow.
Of course, that's when we found out that there's been tiger sightings out there. So,
Is Joe Exotic close to you?
I was just gonna ask.
That's just it. His original place was about 40 miles away.
Wow. I was only kidding. I didn't know that.
It gets worse. When he got shut down and he went to prison, the old boy that took it over moved it within 2 miles of where we researched.
Oh my. That's scary.
Wow.
And when that got shut down, there were 17 exotic cats that were unaccounted for.
Holy cow.
And when we were talking to the cops, and this is sheriff's deputies and tribal police that we were talking to that night, and they told us, they encouraged us to go armed out there.
Wow.
Because of this. They said they're the ones that told us this.
That's scary.
They are the ones that told us this. And they said we've had reported big cat sightings out here. And by big cat, we don't mean mountain lions.
Wow.
They've had reported tiger sightings out there.
Wow. That's really scary. I don't know if I'd rather encounter a tiger or a dog man, be honest with you.
Right.
Well, I've ran into a dog man for sure. Jason is convinced that I ran into a tiger up there one night.
Wow.
Because I went up the hill to the cemetery, and it's on audio. You hear me go, "Oh, I'm walking up the trail." I say, I just heard a growl, and this is before any of that. I knew any of that. Okay. I didn't even know who this Joe Exotic cat was,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know there's a tiger farm anywhere around or whatever, So anyway, I'm walking up the trail, and I just heard a growl over to my left. It kind of had a purr to it. And I keep going. I get up to the top of the cemetery, and I've got this little puny ass pin light, and I look back over my left shoulder, and right just in the edge of the trees on the edge of my light, I catch this eye shine. And it's about 2 feet off the ground, 2-ish feet off the ground or so. And the thing about this eye shine, it looked like the eyes were big around as silver dollars and about 8 to 10 inches apart.
Wow.
And so you're looking at something that's like that, And I'm watching this thing, and it's playing peekaboo behind a tree with me. And you know how something is on the edge of your light and it's darker than, you can vaguely see the outline, and I really couldn't, whatever it was down on all fours or laying down or whatever. And I could just see the head moving behind this tree and back. And then it looked like it was turning its head like the light was in its eyes, Well, then it stood up, because you hear me go, okay, this is cool. I got an eye shine, blah, blah, blah. And then it stood up. And when it hit about 4.5, 5 feet, or what I thought was about 4.5, 5 feet, I said, okay, well, it's time to go. Well, you hear me go, oh shit, it's time to go. So I turn around, I walk back down the trail. I didn't run, because that's the last thing you want to do. I don't care what kind of predator it is. That's the last thing you want to do. You trigger that, instinct in, and you instantly become prey. So I walked back down with no incidents. But Jason's convinced that I ran into a tiger that night.
Wow.
Long for many years.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a Bigfoot.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that, But who knows?
Yeah.
And you said it went in biped too, didn't you, Tex? So,
no, not that one. Not that one.
Oh no, not that one. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it
No, that was
possibly
my
is
Dogman
big
encounter
cat.
when I was 16 that I think you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
This was in Brown Springs. This was years that my Dogman sighting was when I was 16. This was in like 2018 or something like that.
Oh, so this is a few years ago then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
wow.
Damn.
I wonder why, like, if all these 17 cats are unaccounted for, I mean, why aren't they out looking for them? You know, I mean, that to me,
They may very well be. We don't know. You know, they're not. I was shocked that they actually told us about it, especially
Right.
after we told them what we were doing out there.
right.
You know, but the tribal police were very open. They were more talkative than the sheriff's deputies were. They
Yeah.
actually told us that 2 of their officers had Bigfoot sightings out there.
Mhm.
And the
Oh,
officer
wow.
I was talking to told me that he had a paranormal experience when he was 16 in that cemetery.
Wow.
Back when the road was good enough, you could actually drive on it up there.
Wow.
Interesting.
You know, so and I think it's they let that place go, and the drug traffic was horrible out there. I mean, we would go out there and find needles and crack pipes all around the campsites, you
Mhm.
know, and it was out of control and trashing the place and everything. Well,
Wow.
now they've got a game warden that is specifically assigned to that area.
Mhm.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And our last trip out there, they've cleaned it up, you know, and everything like that. So it's better out there, but it hasn't affected the activity, obviously, considering what
Right.
we pulled out of there last time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Wow.
That's
and I
what we got to deal with
apologize,
a
I
lot.
didn't bring the blog squat picture back for y'all, but I thought the handprints were pretty good. But yeah, it's crazy out there, you know, and
Mhm.
I mean, we're going back, and this month we got a trip planned.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and announce this tonight. I kind of mentioned it, I think, last show or something, or maybe it was the late night show we did.
I don't remember. They run together.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to, or we, not me, we are going to do host an open expedition. So anybody that's out there that wants to go is more than welcome. Okay. Regardless of what you may hear, we don't charge nothing. Okay. It's not my place. It's not I don't own that area out there. But if anybody wants to go, email me. You'll have to, you know, I can't pay for you travel or nothing like that. So I'm not, unfortunately, Tex ain't made out of money. But if you get your butt down here, let me know if you're going to need gear or whatever. I will limit the, you know, because I don't want 40 people, you know, that's just too much. And
Mhm.
I'd like to keep it down to 10 to 15 range,
Mhm.
you know. So if you want to go, shoot us an email and I'll get back in touch with you, and you know, we'll figure it out. We're going to do it in the fall of this year. So it's basically, I call it an expedition. We're going camping.
Yeah, you can
We're
go
going
camping,
camping.
and that's what
We're
it
going
is. You know,
camping.
it's basically a
We're going to sit
camping
around the
trip, and
campfire.
right.
I'll show you where, you know, I'll take you around, show you where I have my encounters. If you want to go to the cemetery, I'll take you to the cemetery. You know, we'll of course, we're going to go out in the woods, that type of thing. But I know a lot of people are interested in the area, and you know, I'm not. It's a public. It's a freaking state park, but for lack of a better term, it's a
Yes.
camping ground. So
Yes.
hell, let's do it.
Yeah, you can go camping. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like,
In fact, that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it camping trip. Damn it.
Right. So if you fall down and hurt yourself, that's on you.
Tex isn't liable. They can sign waiver
Tex
forms.
is not liable for that if you fall down. This is not his place, not his property. He's going camping. He's just inviting you to come camping. That's it.
That's it. So, but anyway, real quick, let's touch on that case that went up and happened in y'all's area with the whole FedEx thing.
Well, Krista actually was in that area, so I'll let her go with that.
Yeah. So there was a FedEx driver who was found mauled outside of his truck in a yard. And it's up north of Kansas City in Ray County, Missouri. And they we have a friend who works for the funeral home, and he said it was the worst that he's ever seen, like as far as injuries and wounds, and he's got a funeral home, so he's seen some pretty gruesome stuff, I'm sure. However, so the people that owned the house were out of town for the weekend, and they had someone come in and taking care of their dogs. They had I believe it was an English Mastiff and a German Shepherd, and the dogs had a doggy door. And when the police, I guess a neighbor or something had seen that the FedEx truck was there, and so they called, the police, and that's how the police got involved. So when the police got there, the dogs weren't even outside; they were in the house. The police made their way in the house, and they ended up shooting and killing both dogs. However, my thing with the dogs is, they said the dogs were aggressive. Well, my personal dogs are big babies, but somebody strange comes in here and a lot of noise, they're going to be growling and barking and making a fit. So my personal opinion, I don't think the dogs should have been shot. But that's just a side note. The homeowners, like I said, were out of town, and they didn't do like anything to check the dogs to see if they had, like human body parts in them. There was no autopsy, and they never even released the name. You know how when somebody, gets murdered or something, they'll release the name or whatever. Nothing. I only know it was a man only because of the guy at the funeral home. So I actually drove by that area, and I had talked to DA about that, about it, and about, I don't know, it's maybe 15 miles from there. We had, it's where I had my Bigfoot encounter. And then DA was actually there at the ranch one night. And when he was leaving, he and his whole family seen what they thought was a dog man. So, they're in that area, and everything is just wonky. Nothing is adding up, like if you look for a name, you can't find anything about it really, except that there was a killing by some dogs. They said the dogs killed them. But don't you think that they would have like checked to see if there was human parts, in the dog? That's where something's wonky.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Did they ever do an autopsy on the dogs?
They didn't even specify if the dogs had any blood on them, period.
No.
Nothing. They said nothing. They just said they went in the house, the dogs were being aggressive, and the police officer shot them right there.
Mm-hmm. I think that was wrong though, because they entered the house, and
if they entered the house,
yeah,
there's no way.
Right.
The dogs weren't outside. They weren't being aggressive outside. They weren't trying to eat the police officers or anything. The dogs were being fed and taken care of. It's not like they were starving to death,
And I will say this, I own an English Mastiff. I have owned English Mastiffs for 25 years. I used to raise them. I have never had an aggressive English Mastiff. They're gentle giants. And I don't buy the story.
Cover up. Mm-hmm. They use those poor innocent dogs as scapegoats.
Right.
What it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Right. And unfortunately, a family lost their 2 pets, and that makes me sick, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, because the dogs were in the house. They were
Right.
in the house. They weren't even not even outside. The police officers gained access to the house and went in without the owner's consent or nothing. The owners knew nothing
Yeah.
and went in there and got these dogs.
hmm Yeah. So what killed the FedEx driver out in the front yard? You know, and
Now, did
again,
they say what time, Krista, that the attack happened?
During the
not-
day.
Yeah.
During the
During
day.
the day. Mm-hmm.
Now I did
Wow.
drive after I heard about that. I know the road that it was on, and actually our other blonde, Erin, Brandy, and I had spent the weekend up at her house,
Mhm.
and so she's only maybe 15 miles from there also. And so I drove down that road. I don't know the exact house because they didn't show any of that, but I just kind of wanted to look at the area and see, you know, is this very residential? Is it, you know, possible? And it's pretty wooded, you know, where, I mean,
That's what I was just going to ask you. Was it real thick forest?
yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I could see something hiding out in those woods. Absolutely. Yeah.
Man.
So,
So what, Krista, Brandy, Tex, what do you guys think it was? Do you think it was a dog man, or do you think that the dogs actually might have actually killed the FedEx driver? Or
I personally believe it was a dog man, only because I own English Mastiff. I have one now, and I've never seen an aggressive one ever. And I just don't believe it was the dogs myself.
dog man, right? Cover up.
I think it was a possible dog man because I don't think those 2 dogs, even if they were to attack, I don't think they're going to mutilate.
Oh,
Right.
exactly.
You know? So I believe it's dog man also.
Yep.
Tex, what do you think?
There's a comment that in here that says that somebody actually had connections and talked to them and found out there was no human DNA in the dog's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So
That I just explained everything.
yeah.
Wow.
So
innocent dogs were killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and I know there's dogmen in the area. Like I said, D.A. Roberts was there, you know, just I don't know, probably the month before that happened up in that area with Brandy and I, and his whole family had that dogman encounter. So
they were coming home, right? They were driving back to Springville when it wasn't like towards the evening.
I think they were going to their hotel that night.
Yeah.
Oh, hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was after midnight.
Mhm.
You know, when they had that encounter, and that's where that same area is where I had my Bigfoot encounter. And that night, we were, you know, did a bonfire. It was a fall into the supernatural deal, and DA was our speaker on Dogman and Bigfoot, and the Friday night part was Bigfoot. So we were having a you know, bonfire and stuff, and I was sitting next to DA's wife, and we did have something thrown and landed in between the 2 of us. And Brandy was there, and she witnessed that too. So
what was it that they threw? Was it a rock?
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, but we heard it. I didn't see it. I heard it, and she did too. So it caught us both.
I saw it. It looked like a rock to me.
Wow.
So I mean, that was the Bigfoot side
Not
of
a
it.
big one, you know, just a good size.
Yeah, but enough to get your attention.
Just
though.
a good size.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, all of that. I'm not saying it was a dogman that night that threw anything. You know.
Oh yeah, but still something.
But there's something wonky going on in that area for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of these questions and stuff. Lily Pond says, I've had multiple people tell me they saw a dog man in San Francisco.
Wow. I think the NADP database actually does have something in the area. I want to say it was outskirts of San Francisco. I believe it was if I'm going off the top of my head, I believe it was a little boy that actually had seen it and told his grandma about it. I mean, it's on our website. You can check that out. But I believe it was it was a 7 or 8 year old boy that told his grandma that he saw what looked like a wolf with red eyes. Like I said, I'd have to read the account. I don't know the exact justification, but yeah, we've a lot of dogman reports in Northern California. I mean, the most famous one that we've got on, I think, the NADP website is from Jedediah, and it was a guy hiking on a trail, and he was actually coming home from a concert, and stopped in the Jedediah to go on a trail, just a hike, and he heard some roarings and just seemed really odd. So he whipped out his cell phone, and when he took a picture of the area, Dev Rooney actually wrote the report on this. She was the former Region 1 director, and took a picture, and it looks like the dog's walking away. It's clearly biped. I don't know if you've seen the picture or not, Tex, but I can send you the photo. But yeah, it's been analyzed. The NADP actually sent it to experts to have it analyzed that it wasn't tampered with. So to me, it's the best Dogman photo I've seen, maybe the top 3 I've seen. But
oh yeah, please send that to me. I'd love.
Yeah, I definitely will. Do you want me to send it to your email?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Let me pull up the picture. Actually, let me see if I can actually find it real quick for you. Let's see.
Jean Hudson said, I don't know if she's asking a question or making a statement here. Dogman makes structures.
Yes.
I don't know. And you were talking earlier about the difference between a Bigfoot and a Dogman structure.
You seen that one?
Yep.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably bad from my webcam, but I'll send it to you, Tex, and get a better review or view on it.
Wow.
So what are the are there any like standout differences? Got to be, I guess, between what people think is a Dogman structure and a Bigfoot structure.
I've actually talked to Al Santoriga about this one. And so you look at the Sasquatch structures are the more intricately woven. They're beautiful. The huts, they look like it. Right. Dogmen are just, what they do is they just take branches and just, put them together, and then they just hide down. Al Santoriga actually told me that Dogmen will actually dig at a 45-degree angle and will hide down in there. And then when you see the eyes, peeking out, but they use it as a launch point to where they see a deer or something walking by that they'll be able to jump out. But they burrow themselves down. I mean, is it facts? But I mean, Al's up in New York, and he's been in the field paranormal and cryptids for years. So that was a theory that he bounced off mine because I had sent him the photos. I was like, hey, do you think this is a Dogman, Dan? That when I was out investigating, and DA said it looks very Dogman-like because there's these fallen tree branches that were just thrown together, or it could have been a blind for a Sasquatch. But when I crawled in there, it can easily fit 2 full-grown men in there, no problem. Mm-hmm. So it looked to me more like a Dogman den, but I mean, of course, I'm gonna just assume that it is. But talking to multiple people, but then Al did ask, was it dug at a 45-degree angle? And I didn't see anything that was dug. So, but they do say that the structures for Dogmen are just more not well put together.
Wow.
And the Sasquatch are the ones that actually bend the wood and intricately woven, I guess you could say. It's a hard word.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what, if you find one that is dug out like that, that would be the prime opportunity to take a soil sample for DNA.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. That's why I got away from the photos. Like we were talking about earlier, the pareidolia, a photo can only tell so many words. Right. I got in the field starting to do that by going out in the woods and just taking pictures. And then people ask, I'm like, I think I see a wolf looking head. But then again, a photo can only tell 100 words or 1,000 words. I didn't see a dog, man. I'm just telling you what I see. So I got away from that type of research. I'm on the evidence side. I don't discredit anyone that does that. Hey, if that's their hobby and they want to go out into the woods and get some fresh air and take pictures. Hey, we want to put red circles on it. No, nothing against that. That's what made me a believer, to be honest. So, but I want the evidence now. I want to see the claw marks on the trees. I want to see the hair samples. I believe right now we're as a Dogman community, we're at a concrete wall. We don't have video footage of a Dogman yet. Kind of like where the Patterson Gimlin film for the Sasquatch, they've got hair samples. I mean, footprints. We're a lot farther in the community for Bigfoot than we are with Dogman. But as the phenomenon continues to grow, and I think as we get more researchers out in the field and the interest in this thing, that we will get that $1 million photo, or maybe the photo's already out there, but the people don't want the ridicule because people are going to say, oh, it was hoax. D.A. Roberts told me this. He said, Shane, you can get the clearest picture of a Dogman holding a sign saying, I am a Dogman. And people are going to say it's a hoax. It's a fake. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, do you really want the ridicule?
Right.
It's the same, and it's the same thing. That's what got me away from doing the whole video and picture thing. Mm-hmm. Is you take a picture and you get a blob squatch and you're like, and you get drug over the coals for that, or if you get a picture that's really good, oh well, it's CGI or you edited it or whatever. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So why even bother?
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
Do it for your own research.
I'll go out and I'll put up some trail cams, which I really don't think they're going to work because, and it's not because disregarding the whole CNIR thing, because I've found an answer for that. I use passive IR cameras, so that takes that out of the loop. But the thing about it is, these cameras are freaking plastic. They smell different than the anything else out there. You've got your scent all over it. They're going to avoid that just because.
Exactly.
You know? So, and if they're half as intelligent as we give them credit for, you ain't fooling them.
No, I've heard that theory where they pick up the infrared. So it's like, why even bother?
Right.
I mean, I got, you know, I got so tired of even going through my own stuff, and I think I see something there, but I can't be for sure. So why, if I'm not for sure, why am I going to put it out there for everybody just to beat on it? You know?
Yeah. Brandy and I, our motto is when in doubt, throw it out.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's
a good
the problem.
motto.
That's the problem. Unless you've got something like he just showed us,
Right.
you got to chunk it. And
Yeah.
you know,
I'm not going to circle anything.
I mean, I've got a few pictures that I have been sent that in my mind, they're pretty damn convincing, but you know, even those get big. I mean, why go through it? You know, it's not that I don't take pictures and I don't take video. I do, but I'm not one to sit there and pick something apart and go and see if you turn your head just right and squint your eyes and hold one leg up in the air. See, now you see the Bigfoot, you know,
right.
I'm not going to do that. If I put video out, it's going to be like, I felt like I was, you know, I didn't feel like I was alone, felt like I was being watched. I'm not going to tell you where I saw it. I'm not going to tell you if I saw it. You be the judge. That's going to tell me more than anything, because if multiple people start seeing the same thing, you know, but then you also have a problem because when one person says, okay, at timestamp so-and-so, look right here, 100 other people are going to see the same thing.
Exactly.
Even if it's not there.
Yeah. You know, our big motto is too, and in the paranormal world, you know, I think it can be used in the cryptid side of things too. Don't just take one picture of an area. Take 3 or 4. Take more than just one, you know, consecutive. And then, you know, if there's something there, then it's gone. You know, don't move your hand, don't move your camera. You know, take more than one every time, not just one of the same location.
And if you find something, if you're going back through your evidence and you find something, go back out, if at all possible, go back out, take comparison photos.
Yeah.
Take measurements.
Right.
You know, it's just, you know, I know Strangeland was talking, we need to, you know, I'm sorry, but stories are great, but we need to see pictures and video. I'll show you all the pictures and video you want, but I'm not going to tell you what's in it. You figure it out for yourself. You know, because, you know, I was sitting here, I got a camo moving blanket that I use for soundproofing in here, sound dampening. Sorry. And I was looking at it and I'm like, well, see, I see a face there. I see a face there. I see a face here, you know, and that's what we're dealing with, you know, but you crank it up to level 10 out there in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, so y'all be the judge. You know,
Right.
whatever we do as quote unquote researchers, whatever we give you, whatever we show, is going to be trashed by some people. That's you. If you don't want your evidence trashed, if you can't handle it, don't put it out there.
Exactly.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't knock anybody out there that does it, because, you know, my motto is a lot of people are beginners. Everybody has to start somewhere. So maybe they don't know to take the 3 or 4 pictures at a time, you know, and so I wasn't there when their encounter or whatever they had happened.
Right.
So I don't knock them, you know.
Right.
However, I may not see what's in that picture, you know, so, you know, it's not for me. I wasn't there either. So mm-hmm.
And like you said, Krista, I've been butchered by posting the photos that I've taken out in the woods. You know, it's obviously it's jet black. The one image I think that looks like a dog man. You know, there's been dog been seen in the area. I floated it when I first started in the field, and I got tortured, butchered alive, saying, "Oh, it's just pareidolia." And I'm like, "Well, maybe it was. I didn't see the dog. I'm just saying, zooming in, and you can clearly see what looks like a snout, 2 eyes, and what look like ears." So. I mean, is it a dog man or is it just a blob man? You know, like we were talking about it. It's hard to tell. It's just, that's why I, like Tex was saying, I just wanted to get video, audio, and these things and get evidence. So, you know, I could prove it one day. Hey, I got photo of the dog man. I got video of the dog man. Yeah. But then again, if you do get that $1 million photo, then you got to deal with the government and the 3-letter agencies and silence. So it's like, is it worth it? I mean, that's the thrill of it, into the unknown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the answers we're all looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So David Finsterwald, interesting name. Are there any encounters from Germany? I'm from Germany and never heard of dogmen encounters in my country.
Go ahead.
Well, I know a gentleman researcher at Bigfoot in Germany, Bob. He's pulled out some pretty cool stuff, and there's supposedly dogmen over there too.
Well, I lived in Germany for 5 years. It's back in the 90s. I didn't hear anything about, you know, dogman or Bigfoot or anything of that sort over there, but could it happen? Absolutely. Because the German people, they don't spread out and live. They stack on top of each other to live and leave the land. So there is tons of wooded areas and just really remote areas. I was up in the Austrian Alps and everywhere else. Yeah, absolutely. It's prime habitat. I would say yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like
John
there's a lot of sightings.
Do what?
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, it seems like there's been a lot more sightings in the UK and Europe as more people are coming forward. Is it dogmen or is it just werewolves? I mean, being over in Europe, is it just misidentified, you know, werewolves, or is it dogmen that they're seeing that they think are werewolves?
Do we really know if there's a difference?
Really? Yeah. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of Sasquatch sightings. And it seems like it's picking up tread actually over there. And there was actually an episode, I want to say it was in Germany, from Vic Cundiff's channel, that the lady was house sitting her dad's house, and was big old glass house. And she'd seen the dogman. And, you know, I don't know if it was Germany, somewhere in Europe, though. I want to say, like, I'm pinpointing Germany for some reason. I think she was from Germany visiting and watching the house. But if anyone can remember that episode, I can send it to you once I find it. But it was pretty terrifying. It's one of Vic's best that he's played, the way she goes into detail about it.
I heard that one too. It's been a long time ago.
Oh, it's okay. So you know what I'm talking about then.
Yep. Yeah.
Was that Germany?
I don't remember, but it is a frightening one. I do remember that because I remember her talking about the whole house is glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Terrifying encounter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could definitely see it happening over there. You know, I was all over Europe, and I could definitely see it. You know, that the territory is really good. It could definitely hold, you know, Bigfoot, dogman, whatever. It's definitely there.
Yeah, and a lot of people in chat are saying yes, that it was Germany. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I believe it now.
Well, Duke from World Bigfoot Rodeo.
Rodeo.
Radio. Sorry, Duke, brother. He's got pictures from Germany that a local took of dogman, and they look legit to him.
Wow.
Which is a lot of the encounters are reports from the Black Forest in Germany.
Wow. The Black Forest. That's what. Okay, I thought I've heard of something like that.
Yeah, several have commented the Black Forest. So yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And Al brings up a good point. We need to stop using digital cameras and go back to film.
Yep.
Because it's like Jason's show the other night. Digital cameras are being programmed to recognize faces.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So where you're not only dealing with the pareidolia that we're picking out, you're dealing with the pareidolia that the digital camera is picking out because it's programmed to. It don't know any better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've been toying with the idea of looking at, going back to film and doing it that way. It's just so damned expensive to get it, because you don't want to take these photos that you're counting on for details and stuff down to the 1 hour photo thing. You don't want to do that. You want to take them to a good place and get them rendered well. And as far as the film old video, camera, that is so expensive to get, and yet you're not gonna have to send it off to like California and crap to get it even get it developed anymore. I mean, it's just outrageous. But yeah,
I wonder if a full spectrum camera would help at all. I'm not saying it would or it wouldn't, but or would it be better to use just black and white film? That way it's not processing so many colors. It's just,
right.
You got your whites, blacks, and grays to use as contrast. I myself would probably use black and white.
Now here's a conspiracy for you, but it's a good thought. I mean, I don't know if they go for. Duke says, or are they programming them to delete any video with Bigfoot and Dogman in it?
Ooh, that's a good one, Duke. I would definitely think that 35 millimeter Polaroid. It's okay.
Polaroid 35 millimeter. That's all he uses now. No pixels. That's what Al says, and that's a damn good idea.
Well, Patterson Gimlin film was filmed on 8 millimeter, or was it 35 millimeter? No, it's the clearest footage of a Sasquatch we've got. So, and then if you look at the Gable film,
it was 8 millimeter. Was it 8? Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 8 millimeter. And same with the Gable film. I mean, it turned out to be it was a hoax, but I mean, the way the guy, I don't know. Part of me says I believe the guy was forced into making it sound like it was fake. But if you ever watch the Gable film and the way that guy in a ghillie suit moves like that, it just doesn't look natural. I mean, not to say it's a dog man, but it's just that I think he was silenced by, to make it look like it's fake. It's just, I don't know. If you guys want to watch it, or if you've seen it, it's not natural.
I've seen it, and
not saying it's real. I'm just saying it's just that the way that someone in a ghillie suit can move. I just, man, he should be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. John Houston says, I think most Bigfoot are kind. Dogman is demonic. John, I unfortunately, none of us can say for sure. I don't feel like they are demonic. If they were demonic, I think we would have a lot more. I don't think I'd be sitting here talking to you. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Elena says there are 8 different variants of Dogman. There's 8 different variants of Dogman that have been put out there by, and that have been identified. Let me put it that way. That's about the best way I can put it, that have been identified and they've been put out there. But that list is old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it really is. And I think there's a lot more variants, if you want to call them variants, or breeds or whatever, than we think there are. Because I don't think now here's one for you. I don't think every dog man grows to be like 6-7 feet tall. You know, what if they're bred with a smaller canine?
Very
Maybe.
true.
You could have little
Genetically
3-foot
modified.
dog men running around.
Yeah.
You
Just
heard some of the encounters? They're 10 to 11 feet tall. It's crazy to say, but I mean, we're not the ones witnessing it. We're just listening to someone tell what they think on a size comparison. So is it really 12 feet tall, or is it really 7? But maybe the distance and it's up on a hill, or just a different elevation. It could be, it could look like it was 12 feet, but
well,
who knows?
and I've talked about this numerous times. Your average person does not know what something 10 or 11 or 12 feet tall or even 9 foot tall would actually look like.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I think it's rare to get one that's 10 feet. Sasquatch are dogmen.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of them are around maybe 7, maybe 8, because
That's still huge.
it is. It's still huge. Don't get me wrong, but that's kind of my point. People see something that is this massive, and it's like seeing a fish that you lost, and it was bigger than you thought it was. Type thing. Not, and I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose. That's just how we perceive it. All this thing, if you're 6 feet tall or whatever, and this thing is, you're looking up at it, but if you've ever stood next to somebody that's 7 feet, then you go, well, shit. I mean, you're when you're talking 10 feet, you're talking about something that would bump its head on a regulation basketball goal. That is big. So I'm just saying, I don't think maybe these creatures are as big as all the reports we get. I think that they may be a little bit smaller, but
shorter. Maybe the adrenaline rush, people just thinking, it looked like it was 12. I don't know. I was in the moment, or it was just such a split 10 seconds. A lot of the sightings are within 10, 15 seconds, and then they're gone. So
that's why going back and trying to recreate the footage and taking measurements is so important.
Exactly.
The picture that we've got, that DDoS took and texted me, and then I saw it in the picture, and I texted him back. I said, "What about that big fella in the trees?" And then he texted back, "Oh shit!" And then, we went out and we tried to recreate the photo. We couldn't. We took measurements, and that thing, if it was not standing on the log that was back there, it was 12 feet.
Wow.
No, if it wasn't standing on the log, it was 14. If it was standing on the log, it was probably about 12.
Holy cow.
That's a big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a long time, we thought it was Bigfoot. I don't think it's Bigfoot. Not anymore.
What do you think it was?
I think it's just a dark freaking entity that's out there. When you go up there and then, in the same location, you find bipedal hoof prints that are 12 to 14 inches across.
Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
And it just, I jump back. I have a flashback to that movie. Was it Bigfoot, the Lost Coast tapes or something like that? With the final scene where he goes, "It's not Bigfoot." And then you see the big hoof, But John Hoochen says, "I don't think everyone can see them." I don't know. we've discussed the whole vibration thing, the whole interdimensional thing, being marked. You know, some people can see them, some people can't. We just don't have enough data to make that call. We just don't.
A lot of theories.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's all they are. They're not really even theories. You know, they're thoughts. I mean, they're
exactly thoughts.
It's all speculation.
It's an opinion.
The theory process. You know,
it's all opinions. That's all we have right now on it. You know,
exactly. But I do have one opinion on, if you're Native American, I think you have a higher chance of seeing a dog, man. I mean, from every encounter I've listened to or read, you know, the countless hours, a lot of the people, you know, because dogmen are seen around native burial grounds, or they've been seen around cemeteries. They're said to have been portal protectors. They protect, you know, certain things. These are all different things, but they're always around native burial grounds when people see them. So it's like, what if you have native blood or some native in you, you have a higher chance. That's one thing I've always tried reaching around and wanting to ask. Like, I tried calling the 2 local tribes here where I live, and no phone call. Like, you know, I just want to learn their history, but they don't want to talk. So I don't know. That's just a theory I've got. I believe that if you're part Native American, that you look back at the native history, we don't know the native history. So, but they've been seeing these creatures for thousands of years. The Chiatonka, the Ulonga Duglala. I mean, they talk about these dogs, beasts. You know, they've been trading with them for years and stuff. So that's what really gets my interest, is the native, wanting to learn the native history and the lore about these things. But like I've been told, a lot of the older elders will not talk. The only time you're really going to get someone to talk is if it's, you know, one of these younger natives that, you know, have heard about it and what they've seen. So that's one of my opinions, though, is if you're native, just a little bit, I think you have a higher chance.
Right? Do you think it's because they're maybe more in tune with the earth?
That's exactly what I think. They're more, you know, they respect, you know, the land. It's just they lived off the land they've been here since, you know, the beginning of time. And it's just, they've been seeing these things. And I try to align it like a lot with DA's books, if the Apex Predator series, that, you know, I can't pronounce it. The native tribe, they're called like the Tamantateo, or I'm sorry, I butchered that, but you know, they talk about that, and they talk about the Ulonga Duglala and the history. Like, what DA's done extensive research, you know, writing these books, and it's just, that's what fascinated me to want to dive into the native culture and wanting to learn, because of the research he's done on these creatures and the name. I couldn't even say Chiatonka for the longest time, let alone the Ulonga Duglala. You know, those are tongue twister names.
Yes,
exactly. But, yes.
Like, I do believe, Brandy, I believe that the natives are more, you know, connected with the earth kind of thing, you know, real spiritual, you know, they have spiritual animals and stuff like that. So that's one of my main reasons why I believe that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all theory based, so or speculations or opinions.
But I do agree with that.
So Sheldon and Don says there's a werewolf in captivity. I believe you're right, and I believe there's Sasquatch in captivity also.
Oh, guaranteed.
Yeah.
That brings up something that reminds me of something. Supposedly, the movie Silver Bullet.
Best movie ever.
I agree. Love that movie.
That's my favorite. I grew up watching.
Supposedly, they got an actual werewolf to do a transformation for the film.
What?
That's the rumor.
Wow. I did not know that. I knew it was from the encounter in 1972 from Defiance, Ohio, about, you know, the opening scene where the dude's on the train track and he's walking by, and that was actually, you know, in reports. It was in the local newspaper. So, but wow, that actually had one transform, huh?
That's what they say. I don't know.
I would love to meet Stephen King and ask him.
Right?
What did he tell you? He would probably say yes, just to mess with you. Clayton says, and I think this is pointed at you, Shane. He says, I'm a cryptozoologist in Washington State. So You might hit Clayton Blackwell up.
Yeah, Clayton, reach out to me on Facebook or reach me out on Facebook. I'm under West Coast Dogman Project or West Coast Sasquatch, West Coast UFO. There's so many of them I've created. But one of those three for sure. I'd love to either just talk to you, and we actually are trying to build a team right now up in Washington. I don't know if you're interested in Dogman, but we've got some we have a state rep up there and like 4 or 5 people that are really active and wanting to go research. And I believe Washington, even though it has the most reported sightings of Sasquatch, I believe there's Dogman around the corner, and I know there's got to be possible Gugway. So I went up there 2 years ago to visit my grandfather, and just looking, I went hiking, and it's the most dense forest that you can, think of the Pacific Northwest, and everything you think of, what you see on TV, it's true. Not all of Washington's like that, but the north part of it, the more northwest area of Washington is super green, heavily forested, and I could definitely see that Dogman and Sasquatch are there. So, but yeah, if Clay wants to reach out to me, I'd love to talk to you.
Yep.
Awesome. CD Squatcher, love you, darling. I think she went to bed. I missed her, but I love you anyway. She's been to Brown Springs with us, and she makes us all look bad when we go out there. This woman is 70 something years young, or I think, and she comes out there wearing a ankle length dress and puts us to shame walking around.
Wow.
Tough as they come. Oh my gosh. And a heart of gold. Mm-hmm. Love her to death.
That's awesome.
She actually Mogs was trying to raise money for something, and I half jokingly told him, I said, well, you can raffle off a trip to Brown Springs with me. Yeah. And he did. She won it. And she flew in from Florida and went out and filmed with us. Had a freaking blast. Loved it. She's already, I noticed earlier when I mentioned the outing that we're going to have in the fall, she goes, I'm in.
Yep, we just need to come
back. We're supposed to come back and go out with us earlier last year, and she's a sign language interpreter.
Cool.
And she works with the whole like emergency broadcast thing down in Florida.
Wow.
So there was a hurricane, so she had to stay and do that, unfortunately. Well, plus they grounded all the flights. She says the Ozark howler, also known as the Ozark black howler, the hoo-hoo, the nightshade bear, and the devil cat, is a legendary creature that is purported to live in remote areas.
Wow. Very cool.
CD Squatcher again. Oh, I got several from her. Of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas, it is typically described as a being bear-sized with a thick body, stocky legs, black shaggy hair, glowing red eyes, and prominent horns. That's the whatchamacallit y'all were talking about. I guess the howler we were talking about.
The howler, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, there's been all kinds of reports with horns, without horns, cat-like, dog-like, bear-like. Are they misidentified? Probably sometimes they are.
She says its cry is often described as being a combination of a wolf's howl, elk bugle, and a laugh of a hyena.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That would scare me if I heard that. I'm just saying.
It's like when you hear the
oh my God.
Those things are scary too.
Kevin Cloud wants to know, Brandon and Krista, this for y'all. How do I get a reading how do I get a psychic reading?
They could email blondesandbooze@gmail.com and we can send the information over to Aaron.
There you go. Let's see here. Amy, Texas a teddy bear. Thank you, Amy. Clayton Blackwell, the subspecies could result, as stated earlier, from having to breed with other canines. to sustain the species as a whole. I agree. Joe Monk,
Yeah,
I read
awesome.
the way up in I read that way up in the Pacific Northwest they have a legend of a beaver man.
Interesting. That's the first I haven't heard that.
Never heard of that one.
I've heard of the otter man, but I've never heard of the beaver man.
Yeah.
Brown dwarf. Love you, brother. You talk about some good shit. He's got some good stuff on his channel. He awesome,
does.
Man.
Yeah.
He's
in Northern California too.
Yeah, you need to hook up with him.
I know I need to. He's like 11 hours away though. I'm like, man, that's gonna be an all-day drive.
Y'all meet in the middle.
Yeah, right. So we should. Brown dwarf, you hear me? Reach out to me.
He's correcting me. Russia is almost. That's, I said Yeti, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, Otterman is up in Alaska too. That's the one I was thinking about is Otterman.
Yeah.
I wrote down Beaver Man, so I'll look that one up.
Yeah, you better be careful looking that one up.
You know,
scratch that.
I can't come back at you. We're live here. I can't do it. You just wait though. We can't stay live forever.
Oh Lord. Monterey says Canada has the Dinosaur. Yeah, well, I don't think it's just Canada. I think it depends if you believe the story or not, because a lot of people are now coming out and saying it's not true. The Lafleur massacre. That was blamed on either Gugway or Janoskwa.
Interesting.
Shiro sounds. What next? What's next? Chicken Man? There's so many kinds now. So many cryptids.
I'm going to stick with the chupacabra. That's where we're going.
Clayton Blackwell says, I just like not being treated like a joke for my thoughts on the subject. I was the butt of a lot of ridicule for a long time while I was employed as a security officer. I feel your pain, brother. I'm going through that. I've been going through it since I came out of the proverbial Bigfoot closet. And I got to tell you, telling people you saw a Bigfoot's one thing. Try a damn dog man.
Right. I couldn't imagine.
I stick with Bigfoot nowadays until I really get into a conversation with somebody, and if they're open-minded enough, then I'll go into my whole dogman experience. But if I even open up a conversation, it's going to be Bigfoot, because that's as close to normal as I can talk about. Clayton Blackwell, if you come to Washington, look me up. I'd love to go out researching with you.
Yeah, definitely would. I'll let you know when I'm heading that way.
Gene says, Shane, if you listen to Vic's episode 224, all those encounters are within 3 to 20 miles from her.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll
That's
definitely check those out.
224. Sheldon Don says they are one of you is episode 352 on Vic's channel.
Interesting. I'll check that one out too.
Pop, watched it, Scott Senior wants to know, Tex, when are you going to get the girls down to Brown Springs?
Send us a date.
As soon as we get done traveling around the United States.
We've got so much going on this year.
I know it.
Can you all be ready to go in a couple of weeks?
No, 2 weeks. We're going to be in Michigan with Rob.
Yeah,
I'm better company than Rob.
Yep. He's gonna come over there too, so that'd be cool.
To the Parafest, yeah. We're gonna make him work a little this year.
They put him
Get
to
out
work.
there and promote.
You ain't scare him off. They put him to work at They put him and Bob to work at the big conference in Jefferson. They showed up early, and Craig put him to work putting chairs and tables up.
No, all he's got to do is stand there and talk to people. That's all. That's all we're giving him. That's his job.
Well, he's good at that.
Yeah. Then I've got him coming in July too. We were invited to the Kling Brothers deal. They're putting on in Chicago area. So we're going to do that. And he's going to come to that too.
Yep.
Nice.
Susie B says, has any one of you ever have we ever had to take potassium iodide after being out in the field? No. I mean, we have gotten the radiation readings, but they really haven't been high enough for us to worry about. And they've been in a specific, with my experience, they've been in a very local, like couple of feet circumference area around a grave. And then they weren't there during the day, but the readings came back at night. Now, that's how to explain that one. I don't get it. And that's not EMF, that's freaking radiation. And the radiation level according to the chart was somewhere between an airport x-ray machine and a chest x-ray machine.
Oh, wow.
And it sustained. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't there during the day.
Yeah.
That's roughly what's 500 to 600 millirankins, I want to say, for a chest x-ray.
I don't know.
I work in the radiation field, so I work with radiation every day.
Oh, wow.
Well, then you would be the one we need to talk to then.
I've got the equipment, but I can't take it home, unfortunately. So,
but I can tell you what kind of get.
Yeah, I can tell you how much you're getting in radiation. I take out my survey meter with me. Well, it's a Geiger counter, but when I'm out up in Shaver Lake looking for dogmen or Sasquatch, I definitely take one out there, but it never picks anything up. Mm-hmm. So
we did this last trip out. It was the first time we ever took one out, and I was shocked.
Did you get quite?
And we got the idea from Jessica Jones and her team. They take them out with them. And,
really? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's weird stuff, man.
I think that's who I got the idea from. I don't know if it was from Jessica.
Just a 2-1 tool belt.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Al says, question for Shane. The dog man that was swimming towards the witness boat, how was the dog man swimming?
Which one was that, Al?
Something about the dog man swimming towards a boat.
Probably a story you were telling earlier.
Or maybe you posted on your page or something.
Oh, I'd have to double check that. I post so much. I'm like posting at least 3 or 4 times a day, just whatever I can find that looks like an interesting read. I just try to share something.
I talked to somebody that was a witness to something very much like that. I'm wondering if it's the same person. And he told me that it was kind of like, he said it was between a breaststroke and a dog paddle.
Wow.
So that's what he told me. So I hope
I could see that.
If it's the same person. I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, I couldn't see it very graceful.
Do what?
I couldn't see it being very graceful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if they have to snap their arms into place, from going quadruped to biped. You always hear them snapping.
Yep.
Yeah. See, when I had my encounter, there was none of that.
Oh, really? Okay.
When he went bipedal, he dove over the barbed wire fence and went down to all fours. And I never heard I don't remember hearing any of that. It was very smooth transition.
Interesting.
Which makes me think about the Gable film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But Strangeland says, I've spent years observing and watching temperature changes, sound changes. There's a lot that can break down what can be around or leading up to experiencing certain things. That brings up an interesting point that we ran into this last trip out when I was out there by myself. The guy, I was hollering at the top of my lungs, and these guys are only 200 yards away, and you can hear, and even on the video, you can hear the highway noise. But But I was hollering at the top of my lungs and doing really, really loud whoops because I figured that'd get their attention. Because what happened is my battery died in my phone. I couldn't even bring it on long enough to make a phone call. My light was going out, and I was in the middle of the brush. And so I knew they were on. I knew they'd be up on their way up as soon as my phone died. So I was trying to get their attention, and they never heard me until we were within visual contact with each other. They never heard me.
Wow.
Really freaking weird. That's something else we got to check out up there. It's a really strange phenomenon that happened.
Yeah.
Al says the more tools you take out with you, the more evidence you will find in all aspects of the paranormal. That is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're
not necessarily using them to find the cryptids. It's just tools in your belt to find out what's going on. Yep. Clayton Blackwell. Cover up on cryptids is the Department of the Interior. All law enforcement have a special number to call that contacts them with the DOI, special response unit, aka MIB.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I have heard that game wardens have to fill out 2 reports if they have something. If they get a Bigfoot sighting or something like that. The public report is they write it off as a misidentification of a bear or a cougar or whatever, and the other actual report goes upstairs. I heard that from a supposed game warden, so we'll see. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Al says, question for Tex: when it played peekaboo with you, did it go up and down or side to side? It was going side to side.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Let's see. Gene Hudson, what about the lady who was killed and they blamed her Great Danes? No way did a Dane did that to her. Y'all know about that one?
Yeah, I don't.
I've heard about it. I don't know a whole lot about that account. But yeah, they said her Great Dane tore her up.
Huh.
So something else for us to look into.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that one.
Shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah.
Lily Pond. I heard from abnormal investigations there was no human DNA in the dog's stomach. He was a cop and he had his connections. So that's
Gotcha.
what that.
Okay.
I think first she meant for the FedEx driver. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, abnormal investigation. That's that guy I was telling you guys about earlier. He does really good. He has a real successful YouTube channel. He's got like 20-something thousand people.
Awesome.
He looks into the missing 411s. Really good guy.
Yeah.
Y'all be praying for Pat Murphy. She's having colon surgery with a colostomy on 13th of March. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep you in our prayers, Pat.
Yeah,
yep.
Please pray for her. We love her. Pops, Gary Spike Sr. says, how tall do you think a 22-inch track would be?
Ooh.
8 feet. And he asked that because he found one.
Oh, I was thinking Shaq size, 7 foot, roughly size 19. So,
yeah, well, Wadlow, the tallest man in the world, he was 8'11". He had a size 37 shoe.
Holy smokes!
Oh my goodness!
It's unnatural.
Wow.
And that was, 20 some odd inches long.
Wow.
I didn't measure them. I should have. Next time I find them. Fact, y'all are going to Gatlinburg.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Mm-hmm. When you go to Gatlinburg, go to that. I have some homework for y'all. Go to that that Ripley's Believe It or Not, where Wadlow sits out front in a chair. He's automatronic or whatever it is. And when you walk up to him, he stands up. Okay. Measure his feet, measure his hands.
Okay.
That way we'll know exactly how big a 37 shoe is, and we can use that hopefully as a basis, you know?
Yeah.
And see if you can figure out what the spread on his hands are, stuff like that.
Okay, we'll do that.
I wrote it down.
And if you go to a restaurant, a little Mexican restaurant down, it's on the left-hand side if you're headed out of town. And if there's a waiter there and he's from Romania, tell him I said hi.
I'll try to remember that too.
He's a great waiter. It was so weird. Because I'm not from Romania. I'm sorry, Transylvania.
Oh, wow.
From Transylvania. I had never met anyone from Transylvania.
Yeah.
They actually talk like Bela Lugosi.
Wow.
He walked
Hey,
up
did you see that comment
like,
Terry made?
I did see that. So, yeah.
There's right in Alton. I know exactly where she's talking about. There is a life-size statue of him with his actual chair that he used to sit in. All of that's there.
Yeah, so I don't even have to go to Gatlinburg. I go across the river about 30 minutes, and then I can get you measurements.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
And Krista, don't be taking measurements or anything else. We don't care.
I promise. I'll try not to. As hard as that's going to be to do.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard. I mean, well, that was the wrong thing to say. It shouldn't be too difficult because you're not going to have Brandy with you. So, you know.
No, she'll make me come up just to do this.
You know it.
Yeah. I can get to her in 2.5, 3 hours. She'll be like, get up here. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to get barbecued for this episode.
Remember, PG-13, Tex.
Hey, after last night's halftime show, all bets are off.
Yeah, that I haven't even seen it. Don't want to watch it. I've not even looked to see if anybody had it out yet. I don't care.
I was just disgusted with it. I really was. And that means a lot coming from me. Silver Foxtrot, the best way I found to get rid of them is, and talking about, you know, Dogman or whatever, put up a camera, instant removal. Boy, you ain't kidding. Put up a couple of active IR trail cams. They're gone.
Right?
Or they'll tear your cams down and eat them. Silver Foxtrot says the one I saw was pushing 450 to 500. I raise cows, so I'm pretty close.
Wow.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Dukester. Most dogmen reported are between 6 and 8 feet tall. That is true. I've heard reports of supposedly that one by the lamppost. I don't know if that's fake or what. I've heard both. Was like 12 feet tall or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Strangeland says identified with no real pics, but I believe in people speaking of similar experiences to identify. Speculation and opinion is part basis for building the truth. Just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to bring back some pictures and I may have some good ones packed away, but I just haven't put it out there because I don't feel like there's any use in doing it.
Right.
You know?
Tex, you were mentioning that Michigan photo of that dogman by the light post. It actually was shown to be fake. It was this howling statue. Because if you look at the bottom, it projects a square base, and then they put the photo right by it of the statue. So unfortunately, that one was fake. That's the one I thought was legit, 100%. I've had a couple other people fact check it and say, and they did a video and actually broke it down. So unfortunately, that one is fake.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I can send you the video. Ryan Tremblay, he did the video on it, and because I had actually posted at West Coast Dogman, and I was like, "Hey, these were sent to me by other researchers. You know, I'm just floating them out there." And he's like, "Hey, this is why it's fake," and sent me the video. Him and a buddy and a couple other guys that broke it down on it. So I was like, "Well, it's good that we need clarification."
Right.
Somebody else is out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, folks, good grief.
I
That's a
know.
long show.
2 hours and 40 minutes right now.
Well, Shane, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you coming on and putting up with Krista and Brandy. I know it was.
I know you're good, Tex. You know, it was an honor and a pleasure to be on your podcast with Brandy and Krista and yourself. And like I said, I'm truly honored. Thank you.
Well, and the thing is, too, if everybody hasn't had enough of Shane, we got you on coming next week.
Exactly.
Next week. Yeah.
Got it circled on my calendar.
Yep.
Country Boy Cryptid says they say every 2 inches of a foot equals 1 foot in height.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
So when you take those measurements, that'll kind of give us something to go off of.
Yeah. Makes
All
sense.
right.
We can see if it tracks.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for putting up with us live. Especially me. I know I can be a handful. God bless the girls, man. They put up with a lot.
That's an understatement. That is a definite understatement.
And they're the ones that invited me to go up to a mansion and spend the night with them. They ain't seen.
That's all right, because we're gonna see what he's made of. Don't worry.
We'll protect you, Tex. We got you.
Yeah.
On the location.
I appreciate that. I may need several hugs by the time that one investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, considering that this place is still the way they left it, including with the blood on the walls. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be good.
I'll stick to cryptids. I'll pray for you.
Well,
Man.
once again, guys, thank you everybody for joining us live and that's going to listen afterwards. We have a blast doing these shows, and if it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be here. And be sure and catch us. What is tomorrow? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Don't miss Van Buren Variety. He's doing his 100th episode tomorrow, and I think he's doing a best of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You never know, I might drop in. Not going there and interfere with his show. That's an inside joke. You'd have to go way back to find out why, but yeah, it's an inside joke. But that's at 7 p.m. Central, and it does simulcast here to Texas Front Porch. But I do ask you, please go over and show Bob some love. Go over and hit that subscribe button for him, and let's get him up there. We've got, I think, Tuesday nights. Jason. Crap.
No.
Me and Rob have a show tomorrow.
Beyond BMR.
Mhm.
Yeah, Beyond BMR at 8 p.m. Central. I do not know who the guest is, unfortunately. And then Jason does his thing on Untold Radio AM.
Mhm.
And then Wednesday, we've got y'all. What do y'all got on tap for? Nope, not
No, you got
Wednesday.
Jason on Wednesdays.
questions everything. Jason McLean questions everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
Yeah.
see, Larry, I looked that up too. He says it's 17 and a half inches at size 37. I tried looking that up too. That doesn't sound right, man, because I saw this guy's feet. But and I'm a strange that says text your channel is haunted. I can't close it. I had it on the TV and won't go off, so I can watch a movie.
You have to stay with us forever.
We hexed you. Jason's got a heck of a show on tap for Wednesday. Everything that's been going on, the whole, balloons and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But there's something else going on that has not been talked about that's been going on while this is going on. And it's taking place in Ohio, and I'm not going to say any more.
Wow.
But yeah, he was talking to me about it today, and I'm like, what? I didn't hear about that. He goes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy when you hear about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all in Ohio know exactly what I'm talking about. Thursday, we've got the blondes and the booze. What do y'all got going Thursday?
Thursday, we have from TV show Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, we have Rob Damaris. And then our co-host is Terry Mosby, who's been out here in chat tonight.
Awesome.
And then Friday night, the Woo Night, I will be out of town. So Letitia Nunnally is stepping in for me. And she and Brandy have actor Jean-Pierre. He's not only has been in several movies, but he's also big into doing ghost stuff, paranormal. So
nice.
Right on.
And then I forgot Rob on
Thursday.
Lunch with Bigfoot mentioned Rob at noon on Thursday. So, Krista, do you know what's going on Thursday's show?
I don't know who's on Thursdays with Rob.
Yeah,
nope.
she's like me. We find out a couple hours before.
I never know with you. We didn't even know Shane was coming on today.
No, yeah. I found out when Krista, when I told you is when I found out.
I seen it on Facebook. Like, oh, okay.
You know, Robin sent me the link, and I was like, "Oh, cool." You know, I don't mind. Hey, do text Brandy, Krista. Don't mind.
Well, I don't see anything listed for Thursday. So, our agent / booking guy has not updated the calendar, evidently.
Yeah, they may be just talking a random subject. Who knows?
Yeah, it may just be me and Rob. We've done that too.
But there's Rob right there. Now he chimes in.
Yeah, he just said sounds good.
Oh, it looks like Duke's going to show up.
I think he's talking about maybe tomorrow night, or an evening show, not during the brunch show. So I don't know who's on tomorrow on either of Rob's shows.
Everybody's asking, who's on tomorrow, Rob? Who's on tomorrow?
Spill it.
Let your co-host know, and what's on Thursday too while you're there.
Right. That's why
I'll tell you,
you all give me a hard time for booking way out. This is why I do it. See, I'm booked now all the way until April.
Rob says he's not sure.
There we go. There we go.
Oh,
how long ago was it that we've had the Blondes and Booze? A couple months.
This is what happens when the inmates run the asylum, folks.
Yeah, but Tex, you can ask Shane right now. How long has it been since we booked you on our show? And it's next week.
Yeah, I wanted to say, well, originally we had it planned, I think January, and then I had my son's football game, right. And so we had to reschedule, but luckily they were able to fill me in February. So yeah, but it was at least 3 months advance, I would say. 2 to 3 months.
Hey, Shane, watch this. Hey, how long has it been since you had me on your show?
You?
Yeah.
Been a while.
You've been working. Don't even try it.
Yeah.
You've been working.
We do have you scheduled though. You're going to co-host one night with us.
No. How long has it been since y'all interviewed me on Bronze and Booze?
Well, we've never interviewed you on Blondes and Booze.
Thank you very much.
No. I take that back. We had you and DA and Robbie on one night.
Yes, we sure did.
And that was back
in December. A panel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just for you, no, because when we're on Thursdays, you're not there.
And you're welcome to come on.
I need backup.
Anytime you can come on.
Now he's just giving you crap, Krista, because he knows he's working those nights and he usually can't come on.
Right.
Don't let him.
Right.
He's doing it on purpose. I already know. I'm listening to him.
Yep.
Well, thank you, everybody. Once again.
That's all right. We're going to pull a Sunday show.
Just for you, Tex.
Make you come on a Sunday show.
Yep.
Quit your whining. Here's a Sunday show for you.
And Tex, if you want to add that to it, you're more than welcome to come on the West Coast and talk about your Dogman account. I'd love to hear it.
Man, hey, yeah, love to.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I asked like a month
That's how
ago,
you invite me on your show, girls.
I said, I think it was in the chats a couple months ago, and I was like, hey, I'd love to interview you, hear about your Dogman account or so. Whenever you're available, you just let me know.
Yeah, I'll shoot you an email.
Okay.
See, Shane, this is what I'm talking about right here. I'll send you an email. I'll let you know.
But I do. In my defense, I do.
You do.
Dadgummit.
You do.
See, Brandon,
I gotta
instead of
give him a
trying to
little
throw me under
something.
the bus and then back up over
Just a
me.
little.
Anyway, so here we are at almost 3 hours.
Yeah. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And we hope we see you tomorrow night.
Yep.
And don't worry, I'll give Rob just as hard a time as I'm giving the ladies. So
he will. He will.
I don't pick on just them.
No.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.